Chapter 6:14. Huff huff. I finally made it in. #yen. After consuming 90% of the sword puppet's strength, Yi Chunfeng rushed out of the Black Divine Palace. His body was severely injured, and his body was covered in blood. He let out a long sigh of relief and sat down on the black stone steps, panting heavily. Shadow, who was even more severely injured, was paralyzed on the ground. Her rosy little mouth was slightly open, and she was panting weakly. Life Tao pattern, heal. Yi Chunfeng took a deep breath and sat cross-legged on the ground. He controlled the 10 life Tao patterns to heal his physical injuries. He was preparing to fully heal his injuries and adjust his state to the best before entering the Black Divine Palace that was filled with danger. While Yi Chunfeng was healing with all his might, Shadow also forced herself to sit up. She consumed 2 heaven-class soul elixirs and healed her injuries. As time passed, Yi Chunfeng and Shadow were like 2 statues. They sat cross-legged on the ground and didn't move, quickly recovering their injuries. After about a day, Yi Chunfeng had completely healed his physical injuries. He took out the dragon blood flower that the red blood man-devouring mosquito had been guarding for countless years and swallowed it. He circulated the soul-devouring art to refine it and further increase his strength. Such pure dragon power. This dragon blood flower is definitely nurtured by dragon blood. When he was refining the dragon blood flower, Yi Chunfeng could feel that the power of the dragon contained within the dragon blood flower wasn't any weaker than the dragon blood fruit that he had refined back then. While increasing his soul power, his dragon bloodline was also continuously strengthening. If a Class 4 Defiant Beast King consumed the dragon blood flower nurtured by dragon blood, their strength would at least reach the phenomenal success stage. However, Yi Chunfeng's foundation was too deep. He was comparable to an emperor-level expert, and the 2-headed Blood Dragon King was much stronger than ordinary spiritual beasts. After refining the dragon blood flower, Yi Chunfeng's strength only increased slightly. How much of your injuries have you recovered? After refining the dragon blood flower, Yi Chunfeng didn't refine the other heaven-class spiritual items like the 10,000-year Tao Lotus. He slowly stood up and looked at Shadow, who was sitting cross-legged and recuperating, and asked softly, "I've basically recovered 80% of my injuries." Shadow exhaled and opened his eyes. "I'm going to enter the Black Shrine now. Do you want to come with me?" Yi Chunfeng looked at Shadow, who was slightly pale and had a sad look on her face. "Let's go." Shadow slowly stood up and fearlessly followed Yi Chunfeng to the palace gate, which was tens of meters tall and made of special materials. Ha! As Yi Chunfeng gave a loud shout, a tremendous power burst out from his arms and pushed the door, which weighed millions of kilograms. Bit by bit, the door was pushed open. Holding the moonstone, he walked in with Shadow. As expected, there is a soul-subduing steel and a black stone coffin in this shrine. When the moonlight stone illuminated the temple, Yi Chunfeng saw a huge soul-suppressing steel sitting in the center of the temple. Under the steel was suppressing a 2-meter-long black coffin with a large number of patterns engraved on the surface. Sword edge. Looking at the soul-suppressing steel in front of him, Yi Chunfeng immediately saw the Emperor Sky Sword's sword edge at the top of the steel. If the Emperor Sky Sword fused with its sharpest sword edge, its attacking power would increase tremendously and reach the Quasi-Dao artifact level. After discovering the Emperor Sky Sword's sword edge, Yi Chunfeng didn't immediately take it out and fuse it with the sword edge. Instead, he released his powerful soul power and radiated it towards the top of the temple to sense the location of the sky crystal. He was prepared to wait for the sword puppet to devour the sky crystal and increase its strength, before fusing with the sword edge to break the soul-suppressing steel and release the demon's body that was being suppressed by the steel. Over there. After releasing his powerful soul spirit to sense for a while, Yi Chunfeng locked onto the location of the sky crystal that was hidden at the top of the temple. He flew up into the void with the sword puppet and arrived at the bottom of the temple. Flying immortal sword, break. Yi Chunfeng didn't waste any time and used the crudest method to attack the sword puppet with all his strength. He wanted to tear apart the restriction that hid the sky crystal and create an opportunity for the sword puppet to devour it. Rumble. After receiving the all-out attacks from Yi Chunfeng and the sword puppet, the huge temple top started to tremble. Tens of thousands of ancient array patterns appeared on the temple top and fused with the sky crystal, forming a destructive suppressive force that blasted towards Yi Chunfeng and the sword puppet. Withstanding the increasing suppressive force, Yi Chunfeng and the sword puppet continued to attack. While they were shattering the suppressive force, they were also attacking the spatial restriction with all their strength. Yi Chunfeng, let me help you. Shadow took a deep breath and exerted force from his slender legs. While facing the suppressive force that was gushing down, he appeared beside Yi Chunfeng. He held two swords that were as thin as cicadas' wings and weaved out dense sword shadows, attacking the spatial restriction that was cracking. Under the relentless attacks from Yi Chunfeng, Shadow, and the sword puppet, the spatial restriction was being torn apart bit by bit, revealing the sky crystal in the temple's core. Sword puppet engulf. Yi Chunfeng looked at the heaven crystal above his head. It was the size of a fist, and it contained a vast amount of energy. He immediately ordered the sword spirit puppet to devour the heaven crystal. Boom, boom, boom. While the sword puppet was engulfing the sky crystal, the suppressive force in the temple decreased rapidly. At this moment, the black stone coffin immediately emitted a thick black demonic aura. It was like a tidal wave that blasted against the soul-suppressing stone tablet, trying to shatter it. Sword puppet, fuse with all your strength. After discovering that the demonic body suppressed by the soul-suppressing stone tablet was trying to break free, Yi Chunfeng immediately ordered the sword puppet to speed up the engulfing process. While the black demonic aura was attacking the soul-suppressing stone tablet, Deity's sword blade immediately released extremely sharp sword Dao patterns, penetrating the soul-suppressing stone tablet and crushing the black demonic aura. The two powerful attacks were getting more and more intense as they clashed against each other. The soul-suppressing stone tablet shook violently, and tiny cracks started to spread on the surface of the soul-suppressing stone tablet. Yi Chunfeng, what should we do? Seeing more and more cracks on the soul-suppressing stone tablet, Shadow could smell the thick aura of death. His face turned pale as he asked nervously. Wait. Yi Chunfeng spat out a single word and sat cross-legged on the ground. He waited in silence for the sword puppet to engulf the sky crystal and for the demonic body to shatter the soul-suppressing stone tablet. While Yi Chunfeng and Shadow were waiting, the terrifying demonic hand was also waiting patiently outside the Black Temple. It was waiting for its other body to break free and fuse with it. The black demonic aura clashed with the soul-suppressing stone tablet and Deity's sword blade for more than 2 hours. A loud cracking sound was heard, and a huge crack appeared on the surface of the stone tablet. It is finally going to break free. I wonder which part of the demonic body this temple is suppressing. Looking at the soul-suppressing stone tablet that was almost broken in half, Yi Chunfeng couldn't help but reveal a serious expression. He was prepared to take out Deity's sword and fuse with the sharp sword blade to fight with all his might. Luckily, after more than 2 hours of engulfing, the sword puppet had basically fused with the sky crystal. Its strength had reached the level of a level 5 combat beast emperor. After another 16 hours, a surge of demonic aura shattered the heavy black coffin lid and landed heavily on the soul-suppressing stone tablet, causing the shattered soul-suppressing stone tablet to shatter. In the next moment, a majestic demonic body that was coiled around by a long snake-like demonic aura emerged from the black coffin, releasing a terrifying amount of demonic aura. The demonic body that had been suppressed for God knows how many years had finally broken free. Fourth update, please subscribe, please receive red packets. Fourth update tomorrow. Mobile reading website, book address, To make it easier for you to read this book next time, you can click on the bookmark button at the bottom to record this book. You will be able to see it the next time you open your bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 6:15. Devil's Body. This shrine is actually suppressing a devil's body. Looking at the abnormally strong devil's body that had no limbs and no head, Yi Chunfeng could smell the intense aura of death. He had no doubt that the devil's power contained in this devil's body could completely suppress him. Human, to thank you for helping me escape, I have decided to devour your blood and soul. You will become a part of my body and dominate the entire Dohua continent. A ruthless and savage voice resounded from the devil's body. It echoed in the ears of Yi Chunfeng and Luo Yunyang, causing their eardrums to tremble slightly. Emperor Sky Sword fuse. Yi Chunfeng ignored the roaring devil's body and appeared beside the Emperor Sky Sword in a flash. He took out the damaged Emperor Sky Sword and rapidly fused it with the sharp sword edge, increasing the quality of the Emperor Sky Sword. 5 sword Dao patterns. There are 5 sword Dao patterns in this sword edge. When the Emperor Sky Sword fused with the sword edge, Yi Chunfeng felt that the sword edge contained 5 sword Dao patterns. Emperor Sky Sword. Why is that old bastard's Emperor Sky Sword in your hands? What is your relationship with Deity? Looking at the Emperor Sky Sword that was rapidly fusing with the sword edge, the mysterious soul in the devil's body immediately sensed it and let out a furious roar. Rolling demonic aura was released from his strong body and blasted towards Yi Chunfeng. Emperor Sky Sword / As the rolling demonic aura surged over, Yi Chunfeng slashed with the Quasi-Dao artifact Emperor Sky Sword. The terrifying sword radiance split the space and split the demonic aura in half. Tell me, what is your relationship with that old bastard Deity? The furious devil's body questioned for the second time. I have no comment. As he spoke, the two-headed blood dragon king that had fused with a large amount of dragon aura appeared on Yi Chunfeng's body. The terrifying dragon prowess constantly dispersed the demonic aura in the shrine. Looking at Yi Chunfeng's spiritual beast, the devil's body became even more irritable and roared ruthlessly, Dragon! I hate dragons the most. Sword puppet, do it! As the demonic body's strength continued to increase, Yi Chunfeng immediately ordered the sword puppet, who had fused with the heaven crystal and had reached the level of a level 5 beast emperor, to descend from the sky and transform into a sword to attack the demonic body. Break! The sword puppet transformed into an extremely fast sword ray and slashed out. A large amount of devil chi gushed out from the devil's body, transforming into a giant hand that blotted out the sky. The fist smashed forward with enough force to shatter the galaxy. Boom! When the two attacks collided, an earth-shattering power immediately erupted. Although the giant hand formed by the demon's body was tyrannical, it couldn't shake the sword spirit puppet in the slightest. After withstanding the attack of the giant hand, 2 sword lights surged out from the sword spirit puppet's arms and pierced through the demon's body's chest, leaving 2 bloody holes in it. 8 Shah Azura Art, Eternal Night. When the demonic body was under the fierce attack of the sword puppet, 7 killing halos appeared behind Yi Chunfeng. He decisively ignited his dragon bloodline and transformed into his beast soul form, slashing out with the Eternal Night sword ray. A pitch-black sword radiance flashed by. It was mixed with the power of slaughter. Close to 1,500 kilograms of force, as well as the will of the Great Path, snatched away all the light in the space. The sword pierced towards the chest of the demonic body. A deep sword wound appeared on the demonic body's chest, and a large amount of demonic blood flowed out. Lowly human, you dare to injure me? In a moment of carelessness, the demonic body was injured by the sword puppet and Yi Chunfeng, which completely infuriated him. However, after fusing with the second medium heaven crystal, the sword spirit puppet had already become extremely terrifying. It unleashed wave after wave of attacks, each stronger than the last, completely suppressing the demonic body and shattering the sky-covering giant hands that it had condensed. Just as the demonic body was suffering from the ferocious attacks of the sword puppet and was riddled with crisscrossing cracks, the terrifying demonic hand blasted through the heavy restrictions on the door and flew into the divine palace. Not good. Just as the sword puppet was about to severely injure the demonic body, the demonic hand appeared at the most crucial moment. Yi Chunfeng's expression changed drastically, and he flew toward the demonic hand in a flash, wanting to stop it from fusing with the demonic body. Yi Chunfeng's reaction could be said to be extremely fast, but the demonic hand's attacks were too terrifying. It twisted the space, and the galaxy-shaking palm projections constantly disintegrated Yi Chunfeng's attacks, forcing Yi Chunfeng to retreat. The demonic body, which was riddled with wounds, decisively gave up on fighting with the sword puppet and quickly flew toward the demonic hand. In the end, the two demonic bodies collided, setting off boundless black wave. A large number of meridians quickly fused, repaired, and rapidly increased their strength. Shadow, if you want to obtain the opportunity in this divine palace, quickly help me. Feeling the demonic body fusing with the demonic hand, Yi Chunfeng's expression changed slightly, and he immediately shouted at Shadow. Thorns of wood. Shadow made up his mind and took the risk to approach the fused demonic body. He controlled the two Dao intents to form a large patch of thorns of wood, which wrapped around the demonic body. Break. An earth-shattering demonic chi was released from the demonic body, tearing apart the thorns of wood. Seizing this opportunity, Yi Chunfeng and the sword puppet continued to attack the demonic body, thinking of ways to severely injure it. Boom, boom, boom. An earth-shattering explosion resounded. Bursts of volcanic eruption-like energy violently collided with each other, releasing terrifying power. It formed gusts of violent wind in the divine palace, whistling wantonly, fluctuating and distorting the divine palace. Poof! Shadow, who could not dodge, could not withstand the attack of the destructive chi waves. He spat out a large mouthful of blood and was directly sent flying, crashing heavily into the cracked walls of the divine palace. He was severely injured. Although Yi Chunfeng relied on his powerful physical body to withstand the impact of the destructive chi waves, his body's injuries were constantly worsening. If he could not severely injure the demonic body as soon as possible, Yi Chunfeng's situation would become very dangerous. Golden Dragon Bloodlion, quickly come out and help. In desperation, Yi Chunfeng took the risk to summon the level 7 heavenly beast, Golden Dragon Bloodlion. He ordered it to activate the two bloodlines and attack the demonic body with all its might. Battle form. When the Golden Dragon Bloodlion appeared in the Dragon Abyss Divine Palace, it was not restrained by the Dragon Abyss. He decisively transformed into his strongest battle form and attacked the demonic body. The demonic body was slightly distracted by the Golden Dragon Bloodlion's attack. At this moment, Yi Chunfeng stepped on the thunder flash and approached the demonic body like a zigzag lightning bolt. In the next moment, the Chaos Divine Beast parasitic in the Chaos Divine Wood let out a roar of chaos that penetrated the clouds and cracked rock. It was like a violent wave that bombarded the demonic body. The terrifying sound waves penetrated the demonic body and severely injured the demonic body's soul, causing the demonic body's reaction to be slightly delayed. Sword puppet, attack with all your might. Seizing this fleeting opportunity, Yi Chunfeng threw the Emperor's celestial sword to the sword puppet and ordered it to attack with all its might. At this moment, Yi Chunfeng also summoned the Quasi-Dao treasures Vermilion Bird Cauldron and Scarlet Thunderball. He released the Vermilion Bird Fire and Thunder of Death to launch a fatal attack on the demonic body. Boom, boom, boom. The sword puppet's sword, combined with the Vermilion Bird Cauldron and Scarlet Thunderball's attacks, bombarded the demonic body continuously. The terrifying attacks damaged the demonic body greatly, causing it to break apart. This made it want to retreat. However, Yi Chunfeng did not give it a chance to escape. He surrounded the demonic body with the sword puppet and the golden dragon blood lion. They used all their skills and attacked ferociously. They wanted to take this opportunity to destroy the demonic body and prevent future troubles. Mobile reading website, book address. In order to make it easier for you to read next time, you can click on the Save button at the bottom to record this reading record. You will be able to see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 6:16. Dark Tao Intent Devour. After being attacked by Yi Chunfeng and the others, the injuries on the devil's body continued to worsen. It forced him to burn his terrifying blood essence and forcefully use the Dark Tao Intent. It formed a terrifying devouring power in his body and devoured the attacks. D.C. Under the protection of the Dark Tao Intent, the defense of the devil's body increased tremendously. It started to retaliate ferociously. Shadow, if you continue to hold back, we will probably die here today. Yi Chunfeng shouted at Shadow, who was attacking ferociously but couldn't hurt the devil's body at all. Celestial Treasure, Sexual Flute. Shadow bit his lips tightly and revealed his greatest trump card. He took out the sexual flute, which was as long as a baby's arm and was completely black. It had a beast's head embedded in it and started to play it. Tune of 9 Souls. Billowing soul power and bloodline power fused into the flute. A melodious tune that resembled the sound of an army of horses and spears, as well as the sound of sand being washed away by the sea, was released from the flute. It bombarded the devil's body, confusing the devil's soul and weakening his attack. Human Weapon Unification / When the devil's body was attacked by Shadow's Tune of 9 Souls, his reaction became slightly sluggish. The sword puppet quickly fused with the Empyrean Sky Sword and turned into a light sword that could split the heavens and earth. It carried an unstoppable attack power and slashed the devil's body. A deep sword mark was left on the demon's body. A large amount of black blood flowed out from the deep sword mark. Next, Yi Chunfeng shot out the Scarlet Thunder Pearl and bombarded the sword mark on the devil's chest. It released a terrifying thunder of death that penetrated the devil's body and damaged him deeply. The Scarlet Thunder Pearl was a quasi-Dao treasure. The destructive power of the thunder of death that it released was extremely terrifying. It constantly shattered the Dark Tao Intent in the devil's body, tore his body apart, and worsened his injuries. Lowly humans, you have angered me. After dispelling the sound of the Song of 9 Souls, the demon body, whose injuries were worsening, unleashed a killer move. His surging blood essence was completely ignited. A large amount of dark Tao patterns surged out of his body and rapidly gathered in the void. 80 Tao patterns of darkness. 60 death Tao patterns. Yi Chunfeng had a solemn expression when he saw the 2 Tao wills intertwined with each other as the demon's body burned its qi and blood. Shadow's face was ashen as he felt a deep sense of fear. She'd never seen someone cultivate concept to such an extent, and the 8th level of the Dark Tao insight had already exceeded her imagination. Lowly humans, you too can go to hell now. Dark Ripple of Death. The demon roared. The Dark Tao pattern and the Death Tao pattern fused together to form the Death Tao pattern. It was like a raging sea, rolling up a terrifying qi wave and trying to devour Yi Chunfeng and Shadow. Sword Puppet Defend. Sensing the terror of the Dark Ripple of Death, Yi Chunfeng decisively ordered the sword puppet to stand in front of him. Meanwhile, Shadow quickly circled behind Yi Chunfeng to seek protection. Boom, boom, boom. The dark ripple of death that was filled with the 2 Tao wills bombarded the sword puppet's body at an extremely high frequency, setting off monstrous waves. For a moment, all the sounds in the world were devoured. The terrifying impact constantly tore the space apart, causing the space in the temple to collapse. PFFF. PFFF. Although Yi Chunfeng had the sword puppet's defense, he was still injured by the aftershock of the dark ripple of death. A large amount of blood spurted out from his mouth, and cracks appeared on his body that was comparable to a heaven artifact. As for Shadow, he was heavily injured by this destructive power. His mid-tier heaven-grade battlesuit was completely shattered, revealing his bloody body. He was heavily smashed into the palace wall hundreds of meters away, and he fell to the ground, dying. 7 swords of judgment, sky-shattering. Relying on the sword puppet's defense to resist the fatal attack of the dark ripple of death, Yi Chunfeng endured the impact of the destructive storm and flew into the air. The powerful soul power in his mind locked onto the devil's body as he wielded his emperor weapon and unleashed his ultimate attack. The rolling power of slaughter and the power of concept fused together to form the sky-shattering sword that could cut through the heaven and earth. It tore through the destructive storm and slashed towards the devil's body with boundless destructive power. Under the threat of death, Yi Chunfeng's sword's power reached its peak. As far as the eye could see, a pitch-black spatial crack appeared in the sky. The sword's power was monstrous. The devil's body couldn't dodge in time and was sent flying by the sky-shattering sword. Its strong body was severely injured again. Lowly humans, this saint will spare your lives today. The next time we meet, this saint will destroy all of you. His most powerful attack was blocked by the sword puppet's body. He had used up a lot of energy, and the devil's body was covered in sword scars. He knew that it would be difficult for him to kill Yi Chunfeng. He left behind a ruthless sentence and fled from the temple. Where do you think you're going? While the devil's body was fleeing, Yi Chunfeng ignored his injuries and forcefully passed through the destructive storm to stop him. But when he passed through the destructive storm, the terrifying devil's body broke through the temple's restrictions and escaped, disappearing into the endless black air currents. He escaped again. After failing to kill him, Yi Chunfeng revealed a look of regret. Once the devil's body was reconstructed, it would be difficult to kill him again. Are you okay? After the demonic body escaped, Yi Chunfeng slowly walked over to Ing, who was lying in a pool of blood, heavily injured and extremely weak, and asked in a low voice. I'm fine. Shadow struggled to sit up. Her hands were crossed in the air, and her round breasts were stained with blood. She weakly said, "You should quickly heal yourself. I will naturally leave you a share of the opportunities in this temple." Yi Chunfeng swept his eyes over Shadow's exposed breasts, his heart unperturbed. He slowly turned around and walked towards the black stone coffin that had suppressed the devil's body for who knew how many years. When he had fought with the devil's body, his powerful soul had sensed that there was something under the black stone coffin. This is the Tao fruit of death. When he forcefully pushed open the cracked black stone coffin, he discovered that there was a thin black grass growing under the coffin that was half an inch tall. There were 3 grain-sized, pitch-black fruits on the grass that contained the Tao will of death. According to the God-Eater brain, these 3 black fruits were the Tao fruit of death nurtured by the extreme of death. Each one was comparable to a true Tao core and extremely precious. Spirit fish, I have something good for you. The death Tao fruits all contained the same death Tao intent. Yi Chunfeng only needed one. With a thought, he teleported the sleepy spirit fish out of the universe mirror. It had swallowed a large amount of heaven-grade spirit herbs. After swallowing so many heaven-rank spirit herbs, the spirit fish's strength had increased rapidly. She had already broken through to the 4th-level Defiant Beast King realm, and her physical strength had exceeded 5 million kilograms. Big Brother Chunfeng, this is? The spirit fish's eyes lit up when she sensed the pure spirit energy and Tao intent contained within the Tao fruit of death. She asked with a flushed face. Here are 2 Tao fruits of death. Each one is comparable to a true Tao core. Yi Chunfeng gave the 2 Tao fruits of death to the spirit fish and gave her a Tao intent lotus seed of the same value. Thank you, Big Brother Chunfeng. The spirit fish's eyes curved into cute crescents as she held the 3 Tao intent fruits that were enough to make a battle beast emperor go crazy. Alright, spirit fish, return to the universe mirror and cultivate. After saying that, Yi Chunfeng put the excited spirit fish back into the universe mirror. With a flick of his finger, he shot the slightly less valuable Dao fruit of death to Shadow. Following that, Yi Chunfeng released his powerful soul to cover the entire shrine and search for the location of the dragon bone. However, after searching the entire shrine, he couldn't find the dragon bone. He couldn't help but reveal a trace of regret. Looks like not every shrine has a dragon bone. Yi Chunfeng sighed softly and swallowed the grain-sized Dao fruit of death into his stomach. He quickly refined it and further improved his strength. Mobile reading website, book address. For the convenience of your next reading, you can click Save at the bottom to record this reading record. You will see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 6:17. 3 days later, Yi Chunfeng refined the Death Dao fruit. While his strength increased, he also comprehended the 4 Death Dao patterns in the Dao fruit. He also comprehended the 5 sword Dao patterns on the Deity sword. Let's go. Let's leave this place. With his strength increased, Yi Chunfeng walked over to Shadow, who had basically recovered from her injuries and was refining the Death Dao grass. After refining the Dao Intent Lotus Seed and the Death Dao grass, Shadow's strength had also increased significantly. She had reached the peak of Grade 6 Defiant Beast King realm and was only 1 step away from reaching the half-step Combat Beast Emperor realm. Shadow nodded and slowly stood up. He followed Yi Chunfeng and left the temple, which was on the verge of collapsing at any moment. Perhaps it was because Yi Chunfeng saw her alluring body, but Shadow, who was wearing a tight black martial arts suit, didn't wear a veil. Her delicate face was pale, and it was very lovable. After rushing out of the black air current outside the temple, Yi Chunfeng followed the route that the God-Eater brain had deduced and brought Shadow to the southwest. They were searching for the next temple. Lake. There's a lake in front. As they flew, the sky gradually darkened. Through the scarlet clouds, Yi Chunfeng and Xiao Chen discovered a boundless lake in front of them. Let's rest by the lake for the night. It was late at night, and the illusions formed by the stars in the sky were stronger. It was very easy to get lost. The lake in front of them was very vast, so Yi Chunfeng decided to rest by the lake for the night. They would wait until dawn to fly across this dangerous lake. Yi Chunfeng, I want to wash my body by the lake. Shadow loved cleanliness. Looking at the serene lake in front of her, she couldn't wait to wash off the dirt and blood stains on her body. Yi Chunfeng nodded and reminded her, there might be terrifying heavenly beasts hidden in this lake. You must remember not to go too deep into the lake. Once the heavenly beasts in the lake are alerted, there might be trouble. I know. Ying nodded. She took off her leather boots and slowly walked towards the rippling Yu Lake with her bare feet. Walla walla, the cold lake water went up to Shadow's long legs. She gently bent down and scooped up the lake water to wash the blood off her face and neck. Because she was bending over, her round buttocks were raised high, and they were faintly discernible under the starlight. It was extremely tempting. Looking at this alluring scene, Yi Chunfeng couldn't help but admit that at this moment, Shadow was extremely charming. But his heart was firm and his heart of martial arts far surpassed that of an ordinary person's. Thus, he didn't feel the slightest ripple in his heart. After dispelling the distracting thoughts in his mind, Yi Chunfeng closed his eyes and controlled the two-headed Blood Dragon King to continue fusing with the draconic aura within the draconic patterns to increase its strength. After washing for a while, Ying, who still wanted to continue, gently bit her lips and went deeper into the lake. She submerged her whole body into the cold and comfortable lake water and took off her clothes in the lake water to wash the filth off her body. Just as Ying was submerged in the lake water to wash the blood stains off her body and was about to put on her clothes and go ashore, her keen perception detected a dangerous aura approaching her, making her hair stand on end. What is that? Ying's expression changed slightly as she looked towards the lake. Through the illusory starlight, she saw a huge shadow swimming towards her at an extremely fast speed. When Ying noticed the approaching danger, she closed her eyes and adjusted her breathing. Yi Chunfeng, who was controlling the two-headed blood dragon king to devour the draconic aura, also sensed the danger. He opened his deep eyes and stood up. Level 8 Heavenly Beast. Yi Chunfeng's soul was far stronger than Ying's, so he could easily sense that the huge shadow hidden in the lake was a level 8 heavenly beast. Revealing a dignified expression, he shouted at Ying, "What are you waiting for? Quickly go ashore." Hearing Yi Chunfeng's shout, Ying hurriedly put on her clothes and flew out of the lake. Roar! The moment Ying flew out, a high-pitched beast roar rang out, exploding the rippling surface of the lake and distorting the space to bombard Ying, who was in midair. Facing the sudden attack of the beast roar, Ying, who couldn't dodge, immediately controlled several great concepts to gush out of her body, forming a shadow sword that slashed forward, greatly offsetting the power of the beast roar. However, the strength gap between Ying and the level 8 heavenly beast in the lake was too big. The Tao intent that she hurriedly displayed could only resist for 3 breaths of time before it was shattered by the terrifying beast roar. Puff! Spitting out a mouthful of blood, Ying fell into the lake like a kite with a broken string. Seeing her fall into the lake, a vague shadow cut through the night and hugged Ying, whose clothes were severely damaged, in his arms. Stepping on the violently tumbling lake with the tip of his foot, they returned to the shore. At this time, Ying's hair was slightly messy. Her sexy collarbone, white and tender twin peaks, and straight white legs were completely exposed in front of Yi Chunfeng. Under the starlight, they shone with a seductive light, seductive and alluring. However, Yi Chunfeng had no time to appreciate such a seductive scene. The huge monster in the lake had already emerged from the lake and roared at Yi Chunfeng and Ying. Level 8 Heavenly Beast, Serene Turtle. Looking at the huge monster in front of them through Yi Chunfeng's body, the divine beast of chaos let out a strange cry of excitement. "Boss, you must kill it. After swallowing its beast core, I can recover to the level of an level 8 heavenly beast." "Alright." Yi Chunfeng nodded and put down Ying. He summoned the sword puppet and faced the terrifying level 8 heavenly beast, Serene Turtle. "Sword puppet, destroy it at all costs." Yi Chunfeng lent the quasi-Dao artifact Emperor Celestial Sword to the sword puppet and ordered it to attack with all its might. Swish! An ear-piercing sound rang out as the sword puppet wielded the Emperor's Celestial Sword and drew a sword shadow in midair. It slashed towards the Serene Turtle with an astounding sword intent. A light sword that was more than 10 feet long flew out of the Emperor's Celestial Sword and slashed on the Serene Turtle's thick shell, leaving behind a deep sword mark on the tough shell. As the sword puppet attacked the Serene Turtle ferociously, the Vermilion Bird Cauldron and the Scarlet Thunder Ball flew out of Yi Chunfeng's body and attacked the Serene Turtle with astounding power. The scorching flames of the Vermilion Bird and the extremely destructive power of death continuously drilled into the Serene Turtle's body. Large amounts of blood flowed out from the Serene Turtle's neck, dyeing the lake red. The Serene Turtle did not expect Yi Chunfeng to be so difficult to deal with. Not only was it unable to devour Yi Chunfeng, but it was also restrained by Yi Chunfeng, worsening the injuries on its body. Battle form. A deep roar rang out as the furious Serene Turtle ignited its terrifying power of blood and chi. It transformed into the strongest half-human, half-beast soul form and launched a ferocious counterattack. The battle form of the Serene Turtle became extremely terrifying. Its physical strength was close to 10 million Jin, which was enough to fight against an ordinary level 4 combat beast emperor expert. However, the sword puppet was even more terrifying. It relied on its indestructible body to continuously block the Serene Turtle's attacks and fought fiercely with the Serene Turtle. The terrifying energy engulfed the quiet lake, and pillars of water soared into the sky like dragons. The endless flames of power even lit up the pitch-black space. The more the sword puppet and the serene turtle fought, the faster and stronger they became. The destructive power they created made Yi Chunfeng not dare to get close to them easily. Just as the battle between the sword puppet and the serene turtle reached its climax, and the heaven crystal's energy was rapidly depleting, a distant sound of a flute rang out. It was like the sound of an armored horse and spear, like a small bridge and flowing water. It directly bombarded the serene turtle's soul, causing its reaction to be slightly delayed. Mobile reading site, book address. For the convenience of your next reading, you can click on the bookmark button at the bottom to record this reading record. You will be able to see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 6:18. Man-Weapon Unity Break. While the tortoise's reaction was delayed, the sword puppet burned the heaven crystal's energy. Its entire body fused with the Emperor's celestial sword and pierced towards the tortoise's chest. Yen yen. Chi. Before the tortoise could control its shell to defend, the unstoppable Emperor's celestial sword stabbed into the tortoise's chest, severely injuring its body. Vermilion bird cauldron suppress. The tortoise was injured by the sword puppet's man-weapon unity. Yi Chunfeng immediately controlled the vermilion bird cauldron to expand and suppress the tortoise like a mountain. Feeling the destructive power from the vermilion bird cauldron, the tortoise decisively controlled its unbreakable shell to defend with all its might. However, when the tortoise forcefully resisted the vermilion bird cauldron's suppression, Yi Chunfeng used his strongest move. The scarlet thunder pearl, which contained endless energy, shot out and pierced the tortoise's chest that was penetrated by the Emperor's celestial sword. The next moment, endless thunder of death was released from the scarlet thunder pearl. It was like a scarlet sun, destroying the tortoise's body and damaging its vitality. Godfiend bloodline burn Godfiend body. The tortoise was severely injured. Yi Chunfeng had indeed burned his Godfiend bloodline and transformed into his strongest Godfiend body. He launched his most fatal attack, wanting to kill the tortoise in one go. Die! Yi Chunfeng, who was filled with explosive power, rushed over. The tortoise, whose injuries were worsening, forced out the scarlet thunder pearl and shook off the vermilion bird cauldron. It then threw out a huge tortoise shell that was more than 10 meters in diameter. Wind riding technique. Facing the tortoise shell's attack, Yi Chunfeng didn't take it head-on. Instead, he used the wind riding technique and instantly increased his speed. He dodged the tortoise shell's attack and approached the tortoise. He struck out the mystic underworld extreme Dao with one hand and the heavenly Dao's ruthless with the other. He struck the tortoise's chest, causing it to howl in pain and roar in anger. Song of Nine Souls. Just as the angry tortoise was counterattacking with all its might, Shadow continued to play the celestial flute, forming a soul-shaking sound wave. The Song of Nine Souls attacked the tortoise's soul, making it feel as if its head was being pricked by needles. Roar of Chaos. The Chaos Divine Beast, who had been waiting for an opportunity, attacked. The terrifying sound waves were like a roaring tide. They hit the bloody body of the spirit tortoise right in front of it. It was so strong that the spirit tortoise's huge body was knocked back. It fell into the cold lake. Boss, don't let it get away. The divine beast of chaos sensed that the serene turtle was scared and wanted to escape into the bottomless serene lake. Don't worry, it can't run away. Yi Chunfeng leaped into the air, and the dual polarity ancient heavenly water shot out from Yi Chunfeng's body and into the serene lake. In an instant, the serene lake was frozen, preventing the serene turtle from escaping to the bottom of the lake. At the same time, the sword puppet closed in on the heavily injured tortoise and launched a deadly attack at it. It continued to worsen the tortoise's injuries, not giving it a chance to escape into the lake. Flying Immortal Sword. Flame Dragon destroys the world. 7 Swords of Judgment. Yi Chunfeng continued to unleash nearly 25 million gene of strength as he unleashed his Taoist skills over and over again. Under the relentless attacks of Yi Chunfeng and the sword spirit puppet, the dark tortoise's gigantic body was riddled with wounds. Blood flowed out from the tortoise's body and dyed large patches of ice red. Vermilion bird cauldron, suppress. Just as the spirit tortoise's injuries were too severe, and it could no longer maintain its battle form, Yi Chunfeng controlled the vermilion bird cauldron to grow bigger and bigger. It fiercely suppressed the spirit tortoise's huge body. When the spirit tortoise opened its bloody mouth and roared in pain, Yi Chunfeng once again shot out the scarlet thunder pearl. It passed through the spirit tortoise's mouth and shot into its body. Explode. After controlling the scarlet thunder pearl and successfully shooting it into the spirit tortoise's body, Yi Chunfeng immediately detonated the scarlet thunder pearl, releasing an endless amount of energy that attacked the spirit tortoise's body. It was in so much pain that it kept rolling on the ground. A large amount of blood spurted out from its mouth. If the spirit tortoise was at its peak, it could use its powerful strength to force the scarlet thunder pearl out of its body. But now it was seriously injured and was already an arrow at the end of its flight. There was no way it could force the scarlet thunder pearl out. It could be said that the scarlet thunder pearl had already declared its death. Roar! The spirit tortoise's painful roars grew louder and louder. Its injuries were also getting more and more serious. Its powerful body was damaged beyond recognition by the scarlet thunder pearl, and its flame of life was getting weaker and weaker. In the end, the spirit tortoise, a grade 8 heavenly beast, was killed by the scarlet thunder pearl. It lay motionless in a pool of blood. After killing the spirit tortoise, Yi Chunfeng immediately ordered the sword puppet to dig out the spirit tortoise's demonic core, demonic heart, tortoise shell, and everything else of value, keeping them in his Qian Kuan ring. This grade 8 heavenly beast is very important to me. I can't give you all of its treasures. However, I am prepared to slaughter all the heavenly beasts in the spirit lake. As for the rest of the treasures in the lake, they are all yours. Yi Chunfeng said generously when he saw that Ying's clothes were a little messy, revealing traces of her body. All right. Feeling Yi Chunfeng's gaze, Ying did not feel uncomfortable at all. She straightened her clothes and agreed happily. After resting for a while, Yi Chunfeng and Ying rushed into the spirit lake. As the spirit tortoise, the overlord of the spirit lake, had been killed, the other heavenly beasts in the spirit lake were no longer a threat to him. He was prepared to slaughter all the mid to high-level heavenly beasts in the spirit lake for the chaos divine beasts, Jin Qing dragon bloodlion, and the space devourer to increase their strength. A bloody killing feast was about to begin. Yi Chunfeng, the sword puppet, and Ying went straight into the spirit lake, killing the heavenly beasts that were hiding in the depths of the spirit lake. Soon, the angry roars of the heavenly beasts and terrifying explosions broke the silence of the night. A large amount of blood gushed out from the bottom of the spirit lake, dyeing it red. At dawn, Yi Chunfeng and Ying, who were covered in blood, came out of the blood-red spirit lake and came to the shore. After a night of slaughter, Yi Chunfeng, with the help of the sword puppet, had killed 4 level 7 heavenly beasts and 13 level 6 heavenly beasts. As for Ying, she found more than 10 precious heavenly tier spiritual herbs in the nests of the heavenly beasts, including a heavenly nether purple herb that was comparable to a Dao core. Ying, let's cultivate here for a few days to increase our strength before we continue. Yi Chunfeng suggested. Alright. After obtaining so many heavenly tier spiritual herbs, Ying could not wait to refine them and break through to the half-step beast emperor realm. While Ying sat cross-legged by the blood-stained lake to cultivate, Yi Chunfeng walked away and sent a large amount of demonic cores, demonic hearts and demonic beast blood essences into the cosmos mirror for the chaos divine beasts to consume. After about 3 days, the 3 heavenly beasts that had refined a large amount of demonic cores, demonic hearts and demonic blood essences had broken through to the next level. The chaos divine beast, The golden dragon bloodlion had reached the level 8 heavenly beast. The space-swallowing bug had also evolved to the level 7 heavenly beast after consuming a large amount of demonic beast blood essences. As for Ing, she had refined the heavenly nether purple herb and more than 10 heavenly tier spiritual herbs. Her strength had improved further and she had reached the half-step beast emperor realm. Let's go. We will fly over this spirit lake and continue to look for the dragon abyss. As he spoke, Yi Chunfeng summoned the golden rock's wings and flew over the lake with Shadow, which was filled with a thick smell of blood. They continued to search for the great opportunity in the dragon abyss. Fourth update. Mobile reading home, book address. In order to make it easier for you to read this book next time, you can click on the bookmark button at the bottom to record this book. You will be able to read it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 619. Sword of Flying Immortal Break. 55 sword Dao patterns broke out of Yi Chunfeng's body and gathered into an extremely sharp light sword. The light sword cut through a dark gray, angular, 5-meter-tall strange rock. #Yen. In the next moment, a large amount of energy ripples appeared in the void. The illusion power that filled the space rapidly decreased. The scene in front of Yi Chunfeng and Shadow also changed. A towering mountain that stretched as far as the eye could see appeared in front of them like a coiling dragon. Just as Yi Chunfeng was considering if he should take the risk and enter this dangerous and mysterious mountain range, he suddenly felt the ground beneath his feet trembling. It was as though a terrifying energy was nurturing behind him. What kind of energy is this? Feeling the airflow becoming restless and the ground trembling more and more violently, Yi Chunfeng's expression changed slightly. He immediately looked behind him. What is that? Yi Chunfeng turned his head and discovered that the space behind him had turned pitch black. An extremely terrifying black storm was surging towards him like a tsunami, covering the sky and covering the earth. Although the black storm was far away, Yi Chunfeng had a feeling that if he was swept into this black storm, even if he transformed into his strongest godfiend body, he would be instantly torn into pieces. The dragon abyss was simply too dangerous. Wind of annihilation. That seems to be the wind of annihilation recorded in the ancient books. Looking at the black storm that engulfed the world behind them, Shadow was so frightened that her beautiful face turned pale. She recognized that this black storm was probably the wind of annihilation recorded in the ancient book. It was one of the most terrifying anomalies in the dragon abyss. Let's find a place to hide in the mountain range ahead. Yi Chunfeng made a prompt decision. He immediately took the panic-stricken Shadow and flew towards the dragon-like mountain range ahead to find a place to hide. Yi Chunfeng and Shadow were flying at an extremely fast speed. However, the wind of annihilation was even faster. The terrifying black storm was like a roaring primeval beast that engulfed everything. It closed the distance between Yi Chunfeng and Shadow and wanted to devour and destroy them. There's a crack in the ground ahead. Let's hide there. After flying into the pitch-black mountain range, Yi Chunfeng released his powerful soul and found a hidden crack in the depths of the mountain range. He immediately flew over with Shadow. At this time, the howling winds of destruction surged into the black mountain range. The powerful force bombarded the entire mountain range, causing it to tremble violently. Large patches of ancient trees and mountain rocks were instantly reduced to dust. Get down! Seeing that Yi Chunfeng and Ji Hao were being swept away by the horrifying wind of destruction, both of them decisively squeezed into a hidden crack that could only fit 2 people. Because the fissure was too small, Yi Chunfeng and Li Wuyo's bodies were pressed tightly against each other. They could easily feel the heat coming from each other's bodies. Rumble! Just as Yi Chunfeng was about to move his body slightly, the wind of destruction, which was filled with the power to destroy the heavens and earth, swept over. The terrifying power bombarded the entire mountain range, causing the earth to shake. Shadow was so scared that her body trembled. She couldn't help but lean against Yi Chunfeng's body, seeking psychological protection. Shadow's delicate body was so close to Yi Chunfeng that he could clearly feel the softness and fullness of her body. Especially her plump breasts, which made Yi Chunfeng's heart feel a little strange. However, Yi Chunfeng didn't have time to enjoy her soft body at this time. Wisps of wind of destruction drilled into the crack and attacked the two of them. Black heavenly fire, refine. As the wind of destruction attacked, Yi Chunfeng immediately released the black heavenly fire. He controlled the black heavenly fire to incinerate the wind of destruction, not giving it a chance to get close to him. Time slowly passed. The horrifying wind of destruction swept through the area for about an incense stick's worth of time before gradually dissipating. All right, the wind of destruction should be over. Let's go up, Yi Chunfeng said emotionlessly as he patted Ying's shoulder, who was snuggling up to him. And Shadow nodded lightly. When her eyes met with Yi Chunfeng's eyes, two intoxicating blushes unconsciously crept up her cheeks, making her look very lovable. Although Shadow had taken off her cold killer's appearance, her beauty and grace were very captivating. Yi Chunfeng's eyes were clear. He was not affected at all. The destructive power of this wind of destruction is indeed terrifying. After flying out of the crack, Yi Chunfeng realized that the entire mountain range had been destroyed beyond recognition by the wind of destruction. Large areas of forest had been flattened, and countless crisscrossing cracks had spread throughout the mountain range. A few mountains in the distance had been destroyed by the wind of destruction and no longer existed. And the power of illusion has disappeared. After the entire space was baptized by the wind of destruction, Yi Chunfeng unexpectedly discovered that the illusory power that filled the space had disappeared. Taking advantage of this opportunity, Yi Chunfeng released the soul power in his mind and flew deeper into the mysterious mountain range with Shadow. He wanted to see what was hidden in this mountain range. At the same time, Yu Zhongtian, Mo Wuang, and the others also appeared in the mountain range that had been destroyed by the wind of destruction. After identifying the direction, they flew deeper into the mountain range. It's so beautiful. How can there be such a beautiful place in this mountain range? Yi Chunfeng and Shadow flew for more than 2 hours in the mysterious mountain range. They discovered that in the middle of the mountain range, a beautiful valley had appeared. It was like a paradise. Stalks of precious spiritual herbs and spiritual fruits that made one salivate could be seen all over the valley. However, when Yi Chunfeng controlled the illusory Tao insight to fill his eyes and see through this valley, he discovered that this beautiful valley was formed from the extremes of life and death. It didn't truly exist, and it was filled with extreme danger. Wait, don't go in yet. This valley is dangerous. Yi Chunfeng called out to Shadow, who was eager to go in. After he finished speaking, Yi Chunfeng sat down cross-legged outside the valley. He controlled the God-Eater brain to radiate into the valley and quickly deduced what was going on. Just as Yi Chunfeng was deducing what was going on in this valley, the sound of something breaking through the air rang out. Yu Zhongtian and the others appeared outside the valley and immediately saw Yi Chunfeng and Shadow sitting cross-legged. Shadow, you've broken through to become a half-step combat beast emperor. Mo Wang's eyebrows twitched slightly when he sensed Shadow's strength. He had a dark expression on his face as he spoke. I followed Yi Chunfeng in the Dragon Abyss and obtained some opportunities. I was fortunate enough to break through to the next realm. Shadow nodded, regaining his cold expression as he spoke without a trace of emotion. Yi Chunfeng turned a deaf ear to the appearance of Yu Zhongtian, Mo Wuang, and the others. He sat cross-legged like a statue and continued to control the God-Eater brain to deduce what was going on in this valley. Shadow, is there any danger in this valley? Yu Zhongtian glanced at Yi Chunfeng, who was sitting cross-legged and treating him like air, and asked coldly. I don't know. We also don't know what dangers are in this valley. Shadow shook his head and said, You don't know? Yu Zhongtian frowned slightly. He looked at the picturesque valley and hesitated. Suddenly, Yi Chunfeng opened his eyes. Like an incomparably sharp divine sword, he cut through the void and was the first to rush into this beautiful yet dangerous valley. Mobile reading site, book address. To make it easier for you to read this book next time, you can click on the Save button at the bottom to record this book. You will be able to see it the next time you open your bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 620. Let's go. When Yu Zhongtian and the others saw Yi Chunfeng suddenly rushing into the paradise-like valley, they all condensed their soul wings and chased after him, flying into the valley. #Yen. After flying into the valley, Yi Chunfeng didn't reduce his speed. Instead, he increased his flying speed. He wanted to use the fastest speed to cross this valley formed by the two forces of life and death. Suddenly, a strange phenomenon occurred. The extreme death energy in the valley erupted, forming a large amount of death aura that filled the air. It dyed the entire space black and swept towards Yi Chunfeng and the others. After being attacked by a large amount of death aura, Yi Chunfeng didn't reduce his speed. Instead, he burned his golden rock bloodline and increased his speed to the limit. Sword Dao Fifth Heaven Break. Yi Chunfeng burst out with a shout and pushed his Sword Dao power to the limit. 55 Sword Dao patterns gushed out and cut through the rapidly surging death aura, not allowing it to get close to him. Because Yi Chunfeng's flying speed was too fast and his attack power was too sharp, he didn't wait for the extreme death energy to fully erupt and form the most lethal attack. Yi Chunfeng rushed out. On the contrary, Yu Zhongtian, Mo Wuang, and the others who were chasing after Yi Chunfeng were attacked by the completely erupting death aura. Their flying speed was slowed down again, and they were finally trapped in the valley. Damn it, we were tricked by that Yi Chunfeng again. After being trapped in the valley and being attacked by the overwhelming death aura, Yu Zhongtian and the others were so angry that they were about to explode. They roared out in anger out of humiliation. Yu Zhongtian, you guys can enjoy it slowly. Hearing the roars behind him, Yi Chunfeng's mouth curved up slightly and revealed a faint smile. He continued to increase his flying speed and tore apart the rapidly gathering death aura. Soon, he flew out of the valley and saw a pitch-black light wall. That is a Dao treasure shard. After flying under the black light wall, Yi Chunfeng saw two broken pieces embedded in the light wall. They were dark golden shards that looked like the sun and moon. From the Dao intent that these two shards emitted, they should be two Dao treasure shards. Furthermore, their grades weren't low. What are these two Dao treasure fragments suppressing? Yi Chunfeng felt that the two fragments of the Taoist treasure, which looked like the sun and the moon, seemed to be there to suppress this black light wall. He immediately guessed that there must be something extremely ominous in this light wall. However, these two Dao treasure fragments were extremely attractive to Yi Chunfeng. Once the vermilion bird ding refined these two Dao treasure fragments, there was a high possibility that it would transform into a true Dao treasure, greatly increasing Yi Chunfeng's foundation. In order to increase the grade of the vermilion bird cauldron, Yi Chunfeng decided to break the black light barrier and take the risk of releasing the vicious creature suppressed within. Vermilion bird cauldron, scarlet thunder pearl, break for me. With a thought, Yi Chunfeng summoned the two quasi-Taoist treasures and controlled them to attack the black light wall. He wanted to break the black light wall and devour the fragments of the two great Taoist treasures that looked like the sun and the moon. Rumble! After being attacked by the vermilion bird cauldron and the scarlet thunder pearl, the two great Taoist treasure fragments released the light of the sun and the moon, bombarding the two quasi-Taoist treasures and weakening their attack power. However, the attack power of the vermilion bird cauldron and the scarlet thunder pearl was too strong. After hundreds of fierce attacks, cracks appeared on the black light wall. Waves of powerful demonic aura were released through the cracks of the light wall. What a powerful demonic aura! Could it be that this light wall is suppressing the other body of that demon? Yi Chunfeng raised his eyebrows and summoned the sword puppet. He also lent the Emperor Sky's sword to him to guard against any danger that might appear at any time. That is a praying mantis. As more and more cracks appeared on the black light wall, Yi Chunfeng saw a huge praying mantis shadow through the broken black light wall. It was waving its forelimbs that were as sharp as knives and fiercely attacking the two great Taoist treasure fragments as well as the light wall's restriction, trying to escape. Under the repeated attacks of the praying mantis shadow, the vermilion bird cauldron, and the scarlet thunder pearl, the two Tao treasure fragments could not withstand the fierce attacks and finally fell off the light wall. The light wall's restriction was also weakened to the extreme. Vermilion bird cauldron, devour. As the two Tao treasure fragments fell off, Yi Chunfeng immediately controlled the vermilion bird cauldron to devour the two Tao treasure fragments. Bam! There was a loud explosion. After losing the two Tao treasure fragments, the terrifying demonic aura shattered the light wall. A black praying mantis that was almost 10 meters long, with a triangular head and a pair of abnormally sharp forelimbs broke free. A level 9 heavenly beast. Boss, run. The moment the black praying mantis broke free, the chaos divine beast immediately sensed its true strength. His heart trembled as he quickly reminded. Golden rock bloodline, ignite. Yi Chunfeng also sensed the terror of the black praying mantis with the help of the God-Eater brain. He quickly kept the sword puppet into the cosmos realm and ignited the golden rock bloodline again to raise his strength to the peak. He then turned around and fled towards the valley that was filled with a dense aura of death. Human, leave your life behind. When the level 9 heavenly beast, the black praying mantis, realized that the Emperor Sky's sword was in Yi Chunfeng's hands, it spoke in human language and flapped its thin black wings. It turned into a black stream of light and chased after Yi Chunfeng. At this moment, Yu Zhongtian, Mo Wuang, and the others were trying their best to tear through the dense aura of death. When they arrived at the end of the valley, they saw Yi Chunfeng fleeing at top speed and the black praying mantis that was flapping its black wings and chasing after him. Sensing the aura of death from the black praying mantis, Yu Zhongtian and the others felt as though they were being targeted by the Grim Reaper. They were scared out of their wits. Without thinking, they followed Yi Chunfeng and fled towards the outside of the valley. At this moment, they no longer wanted to fight with Yi Chunfeng for the great opportunity in the valley. They only wanted to grow a few more legs and wings so that they could escape the black praying mantis's pursuit. Sword-type Tao pattern, thunder-type Tao pattern, break for me. Sensing that the ferocious black praying mantis was getting closer and closer, Yi Chunfeng constantly controlled the two Tao intents to tear through the surging black aura of death as he fled at top speed. About an hour later, Yi Chunfeng was like a divine sword, tearing through the aura of death in the valley. He flew out and fled towards the northwest of the valley. Immediately after, the faster black praying mantis did not waste any time to kill Yu Zhongtian and the others, who were like birds startled by the twang of a bow. It chased closely after Yi Chunfeng, determined to kill Yi Chunfeng, who possessed the Emperor Heaven sword. Phew, that was close. Seeing the black praying mantis fly further and further away, Yu Zhongtian heaved a sigh of relief and said with lingering fear, "Luckily that black praying mantis's target was not us, but that Yi Chunfeng. Otherwise, even if we had 100 lives, we would not be able to kill that black praying mantis. Zhongtian, that black praying mantis should be a top-tier level 8 heavenly beast, right?" Yu Bingyu took a deep breath and calmed her flustered heart as she asked softly. "No, if I did not feel wrongly, that black praying mantis should be a level 9 heavenly beast." Yu Zhongtian shook his head and said, "Level 9 heavenly beast, that's equivalent to a level 6 combat beast emperor expert." Yu Bingyu and the others took a deep breath and said in shock, "I don't know how that Yi Chunfeng angered that black praying mantis, but with that Yi Chunfeng's strength, if he was chased by a level 9 heavenly beast, he would definitely die." Yu Zhongtian revealed a trace of a cold smile as he gloated. Let's go, it's not good to stay here for long, let's leave quickly. After saying that, Yu Zhongtian and the others left this extremely strange and unusual valley. Mobile reading website, book address. For the convenience of your next reading, you can click on the save button at the bottom to record this reading record. The next time you open the bookshelf, you will see it. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 621. Hundun, let's gather all our strength and see if we can kill that black praying mantis. Hashtag. Yi Chunfeng had burned his golden rock bloodline and increased his speed to the maximum, but he still couldn't get rid of the black praying mantis. This made him want to fight to the death. Boss, although this black praying mantis has been suppressed and is not as strong as before, it is still a level 9 heavenly beast. Even if we use all our strength, I'm afraid we won't be its match, the Chaos Divine Beast said helplessly. Not its match. Do I really have to use the Life Spirit spell and burn the last of my water of life? Yi Chunfeng frowned and kept making a decision. However, as his strength increased, he would have to burn more and more of his life force to cast the Life Spirit technique. Yi Chunfeng's water of life could only restore about 2,000 years of life. If he wanted to use the power of life to increase his strength to a whole new level, these 2,000 years of life would only be enough for him to cast the Life Spirit technique once. The Life Spirit spell was his biggest trump card and also his last resort. He didn't want to use it unless he had no other choice. After making a decision, he suppressed the impulse in his heart and continued burning his golden rock bloodline to increase his speed. Human, stop your pointless struggle. You won't be able to escape. The black praying mantis flapped its wings quickly and made a fierce and bloody sound. It kept disturbing Yi Chunfeng and closing the distance between them. Wrath of God's punishment. Seeing that the black praying mantis was close enough to attack, the 3 heavenly items broke out of Yi Chunfeng's body and formed a terrifying wrath of God's punishment. Dense water ripples appeared in the space and bombarded the black praying mantis. Boom! An earth-shattering explosion sounded. Endless energy filled the void, bombarding the black praying mantis's body and slowing down its flying speed. When the black praying mantis used its absolute strength to tear apart the exploding wrath of God's punishment, it realized that Yi Chunfeng had flown far away. This made it furious. It flapped its wings and chased after him. However, the black praying mantis that was repeatedly attacked by the black flame heavenly fire, dual polarity ancient heavenly water, and ancient heavenly thunder was still unable to catch up to Yi Chunfeng. This made it more and more irritable and angry. Yi Chunfeng and the black praying mantis, one chasing the other, traversed the vast expanse of the dragon abyss. As they flew, Yi Chunfeng discovered that a desolate and deathly still burial ground appeared in front of him. His heart thumped as a trace of an ominous premonition arose in his heart. However, he had no way out. He could only bravely move forward and fly into the grave filled with grave danger. Very soon, a series of bone-chilling cries of ghosts rang out. A large number of ghost soldiers, ghost generals, and ghost beasts appeared from the corpse mound and besieged Yi Chunfeng, who was flying at full speed. Chaos Divine Beasts attack. Besieged by a large number of dead creatures, Yi Chunfeng immediately ordered the Chaos Divine Beast that had recovered to the level of a level 8 heavenly beast to attack. Waves of piercing clouds, cracking rocks, and tearing space were released from Yi Chunfeng's body, directly shattering a large number of dead creatures. Yi Chunfeng was besieged by a large number of dead creatures. The black praying mantis that was chasing after him was also attacked by a large number of dead creatures. However, under the ferocious attack of the black praying mantis, the dead creatures that besieged it were no threat to it. They were continuously killed by its forelimbs that were comparable to a Tao artifact. Black Shrine. There is indeed a third black shrine hidden in this corpse mound. Under the attack of the Chaos Divine Beast's roar, Yi Chunfeng broke through the encirclement rapidly for more than an hour. He discovered the third black shrine in the depths of the corpse mound. At this time, the black praying mantis that had been chasing after him also discovered the shrine. Feeling the suppression of the shrine, the black praying mantis' huge compound eyes revealed a hint of fear. "Let's go all out. Let's enter the shrine first and let the sword puppet devour the heaven crystal." Yi Chunfeng made up his mind and flew towards the black shrine without slowing down. Soon, he arrived at the edge of the black shrine. "Sword puppet, come out." Looking at the restriction shrouding the black shrine, Yi Chunfeng had a thought and summoned the sword puppet. Together, they attacked the restriction of the black shrine. They wanted to break the restriction by force and enter the black shrine. Roar! The billowing chaos roar, the sky-shattering sword that cut through space, and the sword puppet's shocking slash that turned itself into a sword bombarded the restriction of the black shrine. Gotcha! After being hit by 3 consecutive terrifying energy attacks, cracks appeared on the restriction of the black shrine. However, it was not penetrated by the all-out attack of the sword puppet and the chaos divine beast that Yi Chunfeng had gathered. Oh no! After failing to break the restriction of the black shrine, Yi Chunfeng's heart skipped a beat. Without hesitation, he continued to use his powerful Dao techniques to attack the restriction of the black shrine. The black praying mantis that was chasing after Yi Chunfeng had a chance to catch up with him and launch a fatal attack when he failed to break the restriction of the black shrine. However, at this moment, the black praying mantis did not approach Yi Chunfeng. Instead, it flapped its black wings and stopped a few miles behind Yi Chunfeng. It stared at him from afar with its 2 huge compound eyes. Boom! Yi Chunfeng, the chaos divine beast, and the sword puppet launched a powerful attack once again on the restriction of the black shrine that was full of cracks. They finally broke it and entered the towering black shrine that was filled with a powerful suppressive force that devoured spatial light. Phew, that was close. If that black praying mantis had taken the opportunity to attack, we would have been in danger. After narrowly entering the black shrine, the chaos divine beast realized that the black praying mantis did not chase after them. He let out a long sigh of relief and said with lingering fear, "Chaos, do you think the black praying mantis is afraid of the suppressive force of this black shrine and did not dare to come close, or did it deliberately let us in?" Although they had shaken off the black praying mantis pursuit for a short time, Yi Chunfeng sensed something unusual and asked in a low voice, "Deliberately let us in? You mean the black praying mantis that was suppressed in the dragon abyss might have a lot to do with that demon. Moreover, this black shrine might be suppressing another body of the demon. Therefore, I have a feeling that the black praying mantis deliberately let us in so that it could release the other body of the demon," Yi Chunfeng guessed. This is indeed possible. However, with that demon's body and the black praying mantis' terrifying strength, they should be able to release the other body of the demon that was suppressed, the chaos divine beast said. "I think these few black shrines should have the power to restrain the demon. Otherwise, when the demonic hand was released, it did not need to follow us and could directly rescue the other suppressed bodies," Yi Chunfeng said with a serious tone. "Then, boss, what do you want to do?" If Yi Chunfeng's analysis was true, then they were in a very delicate and dangerous situation. "Let's bet." "Bet? How?" "Bet that the sword puppet can control everything by swallowing the heaven crystal." Yi Chunfeng took a deep breath and said. Although he knew that he might lose his life if he lost the bet, the Emperor Heaven Sword was extremely important to him. Furthermore, the Dragon Abyss hid a huge opportunity and a huge secret. Yi Chunfeng could not bear to part with it. Therefore, he decided to bet and let the sword puppet swallow the heaven crystal to continue releasing the suppressed body of the demon. "Let's go in." After saying that, Yi Chunfeng took firm steps and stepped on the black stairs that had experienced the vicissitudes of time. He slowly walked towards the black shrine. When Yi Chunfeng pushed open the heavy doors of the Black Shrine and walked into the Black Shrine that was filled with a powerful suppressive force, the terrifying body of the demon appeared strangely beside the black praying mantis. It silently looked at the Black Shrine that he was afraid of and patiently waited. Tonight, I will post a picture of Shadow. If you want to see it, please add me on WeChat. Ely83 mobile reading website. Book address. To make it easier for you to read it next time, you can click on the Save button at the bottom to record this reading record. You will be able to see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 622. A Concealment Array. There is indeed a great demon suppression array hidden within this black divine palace, and the core of this array is the Heaven Crystal and the star-like Emperor Heaven Sword case that is inserted into the soul-controlling monument. At Yen. In order to verify his guess, Yi Chunfeng walked into the Black Shrine and immediately controlled the power of the God-Eater brain to radiate into the shrine to deduce the truth of the entire shrine. Jiang Yi calmly deduced for more than 2 hours and finally deduced the truth. Regardless of whether it was devouring the Heaven Crystal or fusing with the Emperor Sky Sword Guard, it would destroy the hidden demon suppression array and create an opportunity for the demonic body to escape. However, Yi Chunfeng knew that he had no other choice. He remained silent in the shrine for a while and adjusted his condition to the best. Then, he started to attack the roof of the shrine and exposed the Heaven Crystal that was embedded there. Sword Puppet Devour. After the Heaven Crystal was exposed, Yi Chunfeng immediately ordered the Sword Puppet to devour the Heaven Crystal. As long as the Sword Puppet devoured the Heaven Crystal, its strength should be able to reach the peak of Grade 6 Combat Beast Emperor or even higher. Buzz, buzz, buzz. While the Sword Puppet was devouring the Heaven Crystal, the hidden demon suppression array in the shrine was activated. A powerful suppressive force surged out from the shrine and suppressed the Sword Puppet. After being attacked by the demon suppression array, the Sword Puppet wasn't affected at all. The devouring force in its body constantly cut off the connection between the Heaven Crystal and the soul-suppressing array. Under the forceful devouring by the Sword Puppet, the power of the soul-suppressing array decreased rapidly. A powerful demonic aura spread out from the black sarcophagus under the soul-suppressing monument and bombarded it. Emperor Sky Sword, fused with the Sword Guard. Just as the Emperor Sky Sword Guard released a large amount of sword Dao patterns and crushed the demonic aura in the black sarcophagus, Yi Chunfeng took out the Emperor Sky Sword and threw it towards the Sword Guard embedded in the soul-suppressing monument, allowing them to fuse together. Low-grade Dao artifact. After fusing with the Sword Guard, the Emperor Sky Sword has indeed recovered to the level of a low-grade Dao artifact. Sensing the increase in sword prowess after the Emperor Sky Sword fused with the Sword Guard, Yi Chunfeng revealed a rare smile. The improvement of the Emperor Sky Sword greatly increased his attack power. Buzz, buzz, buzz. Dozens of sword Dao patterns surged out of the Emperor Heaven Sword and attacked the demonic aura that permeated the black stone coffin through the soul-controlling monument. In less than 10 breaths of time, the demonic aura that surged out of the black stone coffin was shredded by the extremely sharp sword Dao patterns. At this time, the restless black sarcophagus suddenly quieted down. However, Yi Chunfeng knew that this was only the eve of the storm. Once the Sword Puppet swallowed the Heaven Crystal and broke the Great Demon Suppression formation, the demonic body in the black sarcophagus would immediately launch a tidal wave of attacks, shattering the soul-suppressing tablet and breaking free. Dragon Bloodlion, Chaos, come out! In order to deal a fatal blow to the demonic body, Yi Chunfeng summoned the 8 heavenly beasts, the Golden Dragon Bloodlion, and the Chaos Divine Beast. They surrounded the black stone coffin, waiting for the moment the demonic body broke free so they could attack. Time ticked by. After about half an hour, the Sword Puppet successfully cut off the connection between the Heaven Crystal and the Great Demon Suppression formation and swallowed the Heaven Crystal. Peak of Grade 6 Beast Emperor. The sword puppet has indeed reached the peak of Grade 6 Beast Emperor after swallowing the third heaven crystal. After swallowing the third heaven crystal, the sword puppet's strength kept on increasing. Soon, it surpassed Grade 5 Beast Emperor and stopped at the peak of Grade 6 Beast Emperor. Roar. Roar. After the heaven crystal was swallowed by the sword puppet, the power of the great demon suppression formation in the shrine plummeted. A ferocious roar came from the black sarcophagus. The terrifying demonic chi was like a tidal wave, shattering the heavy coffin lid and bombarding the soul-suppressing tablet. Emperor Heaven's Sword, come back! After losing the heaven crystal, the Emperor Heaven's Sword alone wouldn't be able to suppress the demonic body no matter what. Yi Chunfeng didn't make any unnecessary resistance. With a thought, he summoned the Emperor Heaven's Sword back and handed it over to the sword puppet. Kachacha. After losing the Emperor Heaven's Sword, the soul-suppressing tablet's power continued to plummet. The terrifying demonic chi completely seeped into the soul-suppressing tablet, causing cracks to appear on it. Finally, the soul-suppressing tablet and the black sarcophagus shattered together. A pair of powerful demonic legs appeared in front of Yi Chunfeng. Attack! Kill the demonic legs with all your might. The moment the demonic legs broke free, Yi Chunfeng and the sword puppet attacked together. They attacked the two demonic legs, wanting to kill the demonic body before it could regenerate. Bloodline of the Deity and Devil, body of the Deity and Devil. Yi Chunfeng burst out with a roar. The strongest bloodline of the Deity and Devil was ignited. He instantly transformed into the strongest body of the Deity and Devil. With the king weapon in his hand, he approached the demonic legs. When Emoji's legs saw Yi Chunfeng and the others joining forces to attack him, he immediately launched a counterattack. Billowing devil chi gushed out from his legs, gathering at the bottom of his feet. He stomped on the void, forming a gigantic black footprint. Heartless heavenly Tao. The huge amount of demonic chi surged towards Yi Chunfeng. Yi Chunfeng didn't dodge. 7 heavenly Tao patterns surged out from his body and transformed into the heavenly Tao prowess. The heavenly Tao patterns smashed onto the black footprint and forcefully resisted the attack. Roar! Roar! The Chaos Divine Beast, Jinqing Dragon Bloodlion, also released a powerful sound wave. It shook the void and heavily smashed onto the black footprint, shattering it. Swish! The moment the black footprint was shattered, the sword puppet slashed out with the Emperor Sky Sword, leaving a deep sword scar in the void. The sword slashed onto one of the demonic legs and broke through its defense. It left a deep sword scar on the demonic leg, causing a large amount of black demonic blood to flow out. Roar! Lowly humans, you actually dare to injure this saint. This saint will definitely destroy all of you. A ferocious and terrifying roar rang out from Emoji's legs. His legs spun at high speed like a top as he stomped on the air, forming afterimages of his legs that shot towards Yi Chunfeng and the others like rainbows piercing through the sun. Facing the leg shadow attack that was enough to shatter an ordinary combat beast emperor expert, the sword puppet didn't dodge. Instead, it rushed in and counterattacked with all its might while shaking the leg shadow attack. Slash! The sword spirit puppet spat out a single word. A beam of mercury-like sword light slashed down, as though the Milky Way was flowing backwards. The sword light tore through the numerous leg shadows and slashed into Emoji's legs, injuring him once more. Wrath of divine punishment. When the sword puppet broke apart the demonic leg's attack, the 3 heavenly spirits shot out from Yi Chunfeng's body like the wrath of a divine spirit. They distorted the void and heavily bombarded the demonic legs, worsening the injuries on the legs. Under the relentless attacks of Yi Chunfeng, the sword spirit puppet, and the 2 heavenly beasts, the wounds on Emoji's legs grew more and more serious. Large amounts of flesh and blood were destroyed, revealing many parts of his bones that were as black as ink. Break! When the demonic legs were heavily injured, the sword puppet ignited the power of the heavenly crystal. Its aura was pushed to the limits as it slashed out with the Emperor's Sky Sword. When the sword slashed down, it was like a flowing river or a mountain pressing down. It directly split the demonic bones, causing the demonic soul in the demonic legs to roar in pain. Lowly humans, you dare to injure my demonic legs? This saint will definitely destroy you all today. At this moment, the heavy door of the shrine was slashed open by two blade-like shadows. The enraged demonic body and the black praying mantis appeared. Sensing that the demonic legs were heavily injured, the demonic body let out an uncontrollable roar. Demonic aura surged out from his body and spread throughout the shrine. Once the demonic body continued to regenerate, the demonic body would be a fatal threat to Yi Chunfeng. Mobile reading website, book address. To make it easier for you to read this book next time, you can click on the Save button at the bottom to record this book. You will be able to see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 623. Demon's Body Reassemble. The demon's voice rang out. His leg bones were broken, and his legs, which were riddled with injuries, broke through the obstruction of Yi Chunfeng and the others. They flew towards the demon's body and quickly merged with it. Take this opportunity to attack with all your might. When the demon's body was reassembling, Yi Chunfeng and the sword puppet, the two heavenly beasts, attacked the demon's body together, wanting to take advantage of the time when it was reassembling to injure it severely. Human, I spared your life just now. Now hand over your life. The black praying mantis quickly blocked in front of the demon's body, waved its sharp forelimbs that were comparable to a Tao artifact, and slashed towards Yi Chunfeng and the others. Facing the powerful attack of the black praying mantis, the sword puppet did not dodge and allowed it to slash its body. What kind of body is this? Feeling the rebound force from its forelimbs, the extremely intelligent black praying mantis revealed a look of deep shock. It was shocked by the defensive power of the sword puppet's body. While it was shocked, rolling energy surged into the Emperor's Sky Sword, stimulating the power of the sword guard and increasing the attack power of the Emperor's Sky Sword itself. Chi. The sword puppet stabbed out at close range. The terrifying sword was like a bolt of lightning that cut across the sky. Without waiting for the black praying mantis to make a second reaction, it stabbed into its neck, broke through its defense, and pierced through its neck. A large amount of blood spurted out uncontrollably, and the black praying mantis roared in pain, crazily attacking the sword puppet. While the sword puppet and the black praying mantis were fighting fiercely, Yi Chunfeng and the two heavenly beasts approached the reassembling demon's body. The terrifying primal chaos roar and the dragon lion's power bombarded the demon's legs, which were overflowing with demonic energy, and continued to worsen the injuries of the legs. Once the demon's legs were destroyed, the demon's body would also be severely injured. At that time, Yi Chunfeng would have a chance to destroy it with the help of the sword puppet's power. 7 Swords of Judgment, Heaven-Shattering. 7 killing halos appeared behind Yi Chunfeng. Rolling killing power, close to 25 million pounds of force, as well as the will of the Great Path, were integrated into the ruler armament. With a slash of the sword, the vast power of the way of the sword enveloped the body of the demon, and it was unstoppable. The heaven-breaking sword tore the space apart and slashed at the waist of the devil's body. It forcefully severed the fusion between the devil's legs and the devil's body. It cut the devil's legs, and blood and flesh splattered everywhere. Sky Devil Rope. As the demonic body continued to fuse, the demon burned his blood and chi, and he was already able to use some powerful demonic techniques. 2 pitch-black ghost chains as thick as a child's arm broke out of the demon's body. They were like 2 awe-inspiring pythons, carrying a powerful destructive force as they attacked Yi Chunfeng and the 2 heavenly beasts. Xian Ming Extreme Dao Break. As the Sky Devil Rope attacked, Yi Chunfeng immediately integrated the will of the Great Path that he had comprehended, forming the Xian extreme Dao power that was illusory and real, and bombarded it. The demonic techniques bombarded together and immediately released the terrifying energy contained in each of them. They fiercely repulsed each other in mid-air. Suddenly, the sound of dense explosions rang out, and the air was distorted and blurred by the fierce collision of energy. Yi Chunfeng relied on the Dao techniques that he had mastered to resist one of the Sky Devil Rope. The divine beast of chaos and the golden clear dragon bloodlion also relied on their powerful demonic powers to resist the other Sky Devil Rope and forcibly broke it apart. Vermilion Bird Cauldron, suppress. At this time, Yi Chunfeng summoned the Vermilion Bird Cauldron, which was burning with flames, and spat 2 mouthfuls of blood into the cauldron, awakening the soul of the Vermilion Bird. After integrating the 2 fragments of the Tao treasure that suppressed the black praying mantis, the Vermilion Bird Cauldron successfully improved its quality and became a true Tao treasure. Coupled with the amplification of the soul of the Vermilion Bird, the power of the Vermilion Bird Cauldron increased to an extremely terrifying level. Rumble. The Vermilion Bird Cauldron, which was constantly growing in size, fell from the sky under the amplification of the soul of the Vermilion Bird. It crushed the heavy air and suppressed the demon's body like Mount Tai. Feeling the destructive power of the Vermilion Bird Cauldron, the demon raised his arms high and pushed it up with all his strength. An earth-shattering power erupted and forcibly held the Vermilion Bird Cauldron that fell from the sky. Scarlet Thunder Bead, Thunder of Death. The moment the Vermilion Bird Cauldron was held by the demon, the scarlet thunder bead flew out of Yi Chunfeng's mouth like a meteor and shot towards the abdomen of the demon's body. In the next moment, endless thunder of death spread out from the scarlet thunder bead and frantically destroyed the demon's body. Although the strength of the constantly reassembling demon's body was far above Yi Chunfeng, he, who had been suppressed for more than 100,000 years, had lost all his treasures and trump cards. In the face of Yi Chunfeng's endless means, he was restrained in every way, and his injuries were constantly worsening. Demon Bloodburn, explode. An angry roar sounded, and the angry demon greatly burned his demon blood. An energy beyond Yi Chunfeng's imagination erupted from the demon's body, like an erupting volcano, fiercely bombarding the Vermilion Bird Cauldron and the Scarlet Thunder Bead, directly blasting the 2 treasures away and sweeping towards Yi Chunfeng and the 2 heavenly beasts. Although Yi Chunfeng and the 2 heavenly beasts dodged in time, their bodies were still hit by the terrible aftershocks, especially the Chaos Divine Beast that only had its soul left. It was even more seriously injured. Its fragile soul was full of crisscrossing cracks, and it had no choice but to hide in Yi Chunfeng's body to seek protection. Sky Demon Rope, seal the space. After burning his demon blood, the demon possessed an extremely terrifying power in a short period of time. In an instant 10 Sky Demon Ropes were condensed, and like dancing snakes, they sealed Yi Chunfeng and the Jinqing Dragon Bloodlion's escape space. Just as the demon was about to launch a fatal blow to end the lives of Yi Chunfeng and the Jinqing Dragon Bloodlion, relying on its indestructible body to completely suppress the black praying mantis and destroy its huge body, the sword puppet appeared in a timely manner. A dazzling white battleship soared into the sky, as if it wanted to split the sky apart. It slashed the 10 heavenly demon ghost ropes that were sealing the space. It forcefully split the twisting heavenly demon ghost ropes and blocked in front of Yi Chunfeng. Boom! The demon launched a fatal blow, and the terrible demon wave that rolled the void fiercely bombarded the body of the sword puppet, causing thousands of huge waves to spread throughout the entire shrine. Ka-cha-cha! Under the impact of this terrible storm of destruction, the black shrine shook violently, and a large number of cracks spread in the shrine, and the entire shrine was fragmented. With the help of the sword spirit puppet's defense, he blocked the attack of the demon. The black praying mantis, whose neck had been pierced, flew over. It waved its sharp forelimbs and launched an attack towards Yi Chunfeng. The sword puppet could ignore the black praying mantis's attack, but Yi Chunfeng and the Jinqing dragon blood lion did not dare to face it head-on, and could only rely on their speed to dodge with all their strength. Demon flames soaring to the sky. Burning his demon heart, the demon, who had fallen into a violent rage, once again erupted with terrible power. Billowing demon energy was released from his body, like a burning firestorm, sweeping in all directions, determined to kill Yi Chunfeng. Puff. Yi Chunfeng and the Jinqing dragon blood lion, who could not dodge in time, were hit by the firestorm that was like a tidal wave. They spat out a large amount of blood and flew out, and the shattered shrine was also completely destroyed. Just as the demon launched a large-scale attack and severely injured Yi Chunfeng, the sword puppet, who was enduring the firestorm of the demon flame, approached the demon and seized him to launch a fatal attack. While its body was weak, it slashed out an earth-shattering sword. Qi. The extremely sharp Emperor Sky Ship, which could cut through all obstacles, slashed the demon's chest fiercely. The sword slashed open his chest and sent him flying out. In the chaos of the fierce battle, Yi Chunfeng and the demon were both injured. This book came from /book/html/30/30709/indextmal. Chapter 624. Battle Form. Covered in blood, the severely injured Jinqing dragon blood lion roared and transformed into its strongest battle form. Holding the sky treasure snake spear that Yi Chunfeng had given it, it stabbed at the demon's chest. The black praying mantis flapped its wings and blocked the attack. It waved its forelimbs, which were as strong as Tao treasures, and hacked at the sky treasure snake spear. The powerful force passed through the snake spear and into the arms of the Jinqing dragon blood lion, causing its arms to bleed. It almost lost its grip on the snake spear. Vermilion bird cauldron, suppress. The Jinqing dragon blood lion was injured by the black praying mantis. Yi Chunfeng immediately controlled the vermilion bird cauldron to descend from the sky and suppress the black praying mantis, forcefully delaying its attack. In the next moment, Yi Chunfeng, who was covered in blood, took the risk to approach the black praying mantis. The Chaos Divine beast hiding in the Chaos Divine wood let out a roar of chaos that pierced through clouds and cracked rocks. It bombarded the black praying mantis's severely injured body and damaged its soul. Hiss, lowly human, I will tear you apart. The black praying mantis, whose body was severely injured and bleeding, let out an angry roar. It waved its sharp forelimbs and hacked at Yi Chunfeng. Wind riding spell. Yi Chunfeng's body flashed and instantly transformed into several wind shadows, dodging the black praying mantis's attack. He controlled the scarlet thunder orb to attack the black praying mantis's relatively weak compound eyes. Rumble. Endless thunder of death was released from the scarlet thunder orb and instantly swallowed the black praying mantis, destroying its compound eyes and body. Attacked by the thunder of death, the furious black praying mantis immediately waved its sharp forelimbs and hacked at the scarlet thunder orb. The powerful force sent the scarlet thunder orb flying. Just as the sword puppet and the demon were engaged in a fierce battle, and the black praying mantis was ferociously attacking Yi Chunfeng and the Jinqing dragon blood lion, Yu Zhongtian, Mo Wuang, and the others appeared in the gloomy corpse mound and slowly approached the Black Temple. As expected, they are fighting fiercely together. Looking at the chaotic battle in the distance, the corners of Yu Zhongtian's mouth curled up into a cold smile. He ordered Mo Wuang and the rest to lie in ambush in the corpse mound like poisonous snakes, ready to deal a fatal blow to Yi Chunfeng at any moment. The chaotic battle grew more and more intense. Under the ferocious attacks of the sword puppet, the demon's injuries grew more and more severe. Sword wounds that were so deep that one could see his bones were all over his body. Yi Chunfeng and the Jinqing dragon blood lion had been attacked by the level 9 heavenly beast, the black praying mantis, and had sustained heavy injuries. If not for the fact that Yi Chunfeng had transformed into his fiend god physique and had a body as tough as a supreme heavenly artifact, he would have been killed by the black praying mantis's powerful front limbs. Energy combustion / With the tide-like attacks suppressing the demon, the sword puppet suddenly burned up a large amount of energy. Its entire body fused with the Emperor's celestial sword, turning into a crescent sword arc that was more than 30 meters long. It was like a crescent moon that had descended to the mortal world as it ruthlessly slashed at the demon. Chi! The sound of space being torn apart could be heard. The crescent sword arc of the sword puppet, which had become one with its weapon, broke through the demon's attack and struck his body ruthlessly. The strike sent him flying, leaving behind a sword wound on the demon's body that almost split his body in half. Black praying mantis, go! The demon realized that no matter how he attacked, he could not injure the sword puppet. On the other hand, he was riddled with holes by the tide-like attacks. Helpless, the demon thought of retreating. He summoned back his contracted beast, the black praying mantis, in an attempt to break out of the encirclement and escape. Dual polarity ancient heavenly water, freeze. When Yi Chunfeng saw that the demon was trying to escape, he suppressed his injuries and immediately summoned the dual polarity ancient heavenly water. He froze them, sealing their bodies in ice and slowing down their flying speed. Yi Chunfeng wanted to take advantage of the demon's injuries to eliminate him. He wanted to eliminate this greatest threat. Demon blood ignite, demon flames soar to the sky. Faced with Yi Chunfeng, the sword puppet, and the golden dragon blood lions combined efforts to stop him, the wounded demon was enraged. He continued to ignite his demon blood at all costs, forming a destructive storm that swept towards Yi Chunfeng. Crescent sword slash. 7 swords of judgment, sky shatter. Dragon lion strength. Faced with the attack of the demon's burning demon blood, Yi Chunfeng, the sword puppet, and the golden dragon blood lion did not dodge. Instead, they all used their strongest killing moves to meet the attack. The 3 terrifying attacks gathered together and turned into a ferocious dragon that was baring its fangs and brandishing its claws. It swept across the void and rushed into the storm of demon flames, tearing it apart crazily. Several terrifying energies clashed fiercely in midair. A terrifying explosion resounded across the horizon. Endless destructive energy spread out in a radius of 1,000 meters, directly shattering the seals outside the shrine and destroying everything. Sword puppet destroyed the demon's body. Yi Chunfeng, who was relying on his physical body, which was comparable to a supreme heaven artifact, to endure the aftershocks of the annihilation storm. His blood and chi churned, and his injuries worsened. He ordered the sword spirit puppet to forcefully pass through the annihilation storm and launch a fatal attack on the devil, who was even more heavily injured, to destroy him in one fell swoop. Whoosh! The sword puppet fused with the Empyrean heaven sword, and was like a divine sword. It broke through the storm of destruction and approached the demon at an extremely fast speed, attacking him with all its might. Something's not right. The moment the sword puppet rushed into the storm of destruction, Yi Chunfeng's sharp senses suddenly detected danger. Without thinking, he sent the severely injured golden dragon blood lion into the heaven and earth mirror and used the wind-riding art to dodge. The moment he dodged, several terrifying Dao techniques blasted over and bombarded the space that Yi Chunfeng was in. The terrifying attacks caused the space to distort. Yi Chunfeng, who was severely injured and had expended a lot of energy, looked at the people who had ambushed him. His face instantly darkened. He had not expected that Yu Zhongtian, Mo Wang, and company would ambush him while he and the demon were both severely injured. Yu Zhongtian, Mo Wang, do you know what you are doing? Yi Chunfeng said angrily. Do you know that if you don't get rid of that demon, you will all be killed by him? You don't have to worry about that. You only need to know that this day next year will be the anniversary of your death. Yu Zhongtian's eyes were filled with thick killing intent as he said this. Compared to the demon, Yu Zhongtian and Mo Wang felt that Yi Chunfeng was more of a threat to them. As for the demon's threat, they did not care too much. As long as they could kill Yi Chunfeng and take everything he had, they would immediately find a place to hide until the dragon abyss closed and leave this place. Don't waste time with him. Let's kill him while he's heavily injured. Mo Qianxin held the sky spear in his hand and said with high battle intent. As he said this, Mo Wang, Yu Zhongtian, and company released their powerful auras and locked onto Yi Chunfeng. They wanted to kill him while he was heavily injured. Good. Today I want to see if I'll die or you guys. Faced with adversity and heavily injured, Yi Chunfeng did not panic in the slightest. His battle intent surged as he roared. Like a war god bathed in blood, holding a king weapon, he looked down on the Yu family and the top geniuses of the Western continent and fought with them. The photo has been posted. Add me on WeChat, Ely83 mobile reading site. This book's address. To make it easier for you to read this book next time, you can click on the save button below to record this book. You will be able to see it the next time you open your bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 625. Blood Skull. Ancient Compass. Yu Zhongtian and Mo Wang both summoned their powerful heavenly treasures and attacked Yi Chunfeng from both sides, forcefully restricting his movements. Scarlet Thunder Pearl, break for me! As the two heavenly treasures approached, Yi Chunfeng decisively controlled the Scarlet Thunder Pearl to meet them head-on. Boundless thunder of death was released from the Scarlet Thunder Pearl, bombarding the two heavenly treasures fiercely, preventing them from getting close to him. Heavenly Treasure, Demonic Needle. The moment the Scarlet Thunder Pearl blocked the attacks of the two heavenly treasures, Yu Bingyu flicked her finger, and an extremely sharp demonic needle, as thin as a cow's hair, forcefully broke through the thunder of death, shooting towards Yi Chunfeng's forehead at a speed that was indiscernible to the naked eye. The attack of the Heavenly Treasure demonic needle was extremely fast, but Yi Chunfeng's reaction was even faster. He quickly stretched out two fingers and caught the demonic needle, imprisoning it in mid-air. Tao of Darkness Spear. As Yi Chunfeng broke through the attacks of the three heavenly treasures, Mo Qianxin suddenly appeared behind him, his entire arm fused with the extreme sky spear. The Tao of Darkness and Tao of Shadow revolved around the tip of the spear, piercing towards Yi Chunfeng with a terrifying aura, wanting to pierce through his back. Hun Dun attack. Yi Chunfeng had suffered heavy injuries from the fierce battle with Devil and the Black Praying Mantis. His strength had been greatly reduced, and he was unable to free himself from the fierce attacks of Yu Zhongtian and the others. He could only order the Chaos Divine Beast to attack. Roar. The Divine Beast of Chaos let out a terrifying roar. Like a surging tide, it slammed heavily against Mo Qianxin, who was rapidly approaching. Although the Chaos Divine Beast was heavily injured and could not unleash its strongest attack, it was still a level 8 heavenly beast, and its chaotic roar was not something a half-step beast emperor could withstand. However, Mo Qianxin did not dodge the attack. Instead, he used the Tao of Darkness spear to charge forward, piercing into the chaotic roar. Chi. The sound of space tearing rang out as the Tao of Darkness spear Mo Qianxin used tore through the chaotic roar. What? Yi Chunfeng raised an eyebrow, a look of shock on his face. He was shocked that Mo Qianxin, who had always kept a low profile, had managed to tear apart the primal chaos roar with his own strength. Pooh! Yi Chunfeng's back was pierced by Mo Qianxin's spear. The terrifying power of the spear broke through Yi Chunfeng's defense and pierced through his body, causing a large amount of blood to flow out. Great Demon Slaying Dragon Blade. Even as Yi Chunfeng was injured by Mo Qianxin's attack, Mo Wang leaped into the air and infused his heavenly Devil Tao weapon with his soul power. He slashed out a devilish dragon-like saber light that swept everything in its path toward Yi Chunfeng. Boom! Yi Chunfeng, whose back was injured, didn't face Mo Wang's Tao-ranked weapon head-on. Instead, he tried his best to dodge. But at this time, Yu Bingyu and Yu Zhongtian appeared on his left and right side. They formed a middle-level Dao skill, Ghost Deity Claw, and sealed off his escape route. With nowhere to run, Yi Chunfeng gritted his teeth and burned a large amount of his blood essence, forcefully raising his strength to meet the attack head-on. Heartless Heavenly Dao. Dark Extreme Dao. 7 Heavenly Dao runes manifested the might of the Heavenly Dao. Multiple Dao intents formed the Dark Extreme Dao force and bombarded the devilish dragon-like Great Demon slaying Dragon Blade. Rumble. The 3 powerful attacks collided and immediately formed a terrifying shockwave that violently exploded in midair. Yi Chunfeng used his Dao intents to forcefully block the Great Demon slaying Dragon Blade. The 2 Ghost Deity Claws that sealed off his escape route viciously grabbed his body and began to destroy it. Mo Qianxin, who had just injured Yi Chunfeng, continued to stab forward. Streaks of lightning-like spear light enveloped Yi Chunfeng, tearing apart his defenses and worsening his injuries. Under the ferocious attacks of Yu Zhongtian, Mo Wuang, and the other 3, Yi Chunfeng's injuries worsened. Unable to support the god-demon body, he reverted to his original form. At this moment, Yu Zhongtian and Yu Bingyu transformed into their strongest beast soul form, exerting all their strength to pressure him, wanting to kill him in one fell swoop. Golden Clear Dragon Bloodlion, Chaos Divine Beast, Space Swallower, Spiritual Fish, come out and help me. Yi Chunfeng had no choice but to summon the heavily injured Golden Clear Dragon Bloodlion, Chaos Divine Beast, Space Swallower, and Spiritual Fish, who had just become a Class 4 Beast King, to help him fend off the enemies. Big Brother Yi, are you alright? Seeing Yi Chunfeng covered in blood and severely injured, Spiritual Fish's heart tightened. I'm fine. Let's deal with them first. Yi Chunfeng took a deep breath and drank a mouthful of heavenly fate water to recover his expended soul power as he spoke with a dark look in his eyes. Alright. Spiritual Fish nodded and decisively ignited her godly ape bloodline, transforming into a golden-eyed godly ape. A violent aura gushed out from her body. Godly beast body. Seeing Spiritual Fish transform into a godly ape, Yu Zhongtian and the others were astonished. However, they did not slow down their attacks and attacked Yi Chunfeng with all their might. Spiritual Fish and the 3 heavenly beasts were determined to kill them all. At the same time, the sword puppet, demon, and black praying mantis's battle had also reached its climax. Fierce energy filled the air. When Demon discovered that Yu Zhongtian and the others had actually attacked Yi Chunfeng at this moment, he was overjoyed. He and the black praying mantis continued to tangle with the sword spirit puppet, not giving him a chance to rescue Yi Chunfeng. Pooh! After fighting for half an hour, Spiritual Fish, who was in the midst of the destructive storm, could no longer withstand the fierce attacks of Yu Zhongtian and the others. She was struck in the chest by Yu Bingyu's silent millstone. She spat out a mouthful of blood and fell to the ground, heavily injured. Go to hell! When Spiritual Fish was injured, Mo Qianxin immediately stabbed his spear at Spiritual Fish's head. He wanted to pierce through her head and end her life. Heaven and Earth Mirror, keep! At the critical moment, Yi Chunfeng, who was enduring the fierce attacks, controlled the Heaven and Earth Mirror to keep the severely injured Spiritual Fish, causing Mo Qianxin's spear to miss. Spiritual Fish had just escaped, and the Space Swallower, which was not strong, was also heavily injured. Yi Chunfeng teleported them into the Heaven and Earth Mirror in time to protect them. Boss, the situation is not good. Quickly summon your sword puppet back. We will kill our way out. The Chaos Divine Beast, who was heavily injured and could not resist, transmitted his voice. All of you, return to the Heaven and Earth Mirror. Leave them to me. Yi Chunfeng's eyes flashed with killing intent. He decided to use his final trump card, the Life Spirit technique. The reason why he made this decision was because he was too heavily injured and the sword puppet had used up too much energy. Even if he tried to force his way out, he would definitely be hunted down and would not be able to escape the dangerous situation. Instead of that, it was better to use the life spirit technique and kill Yu Zhongtian and the others. Then, he would have complete control of his own fate. Keep. With a thought, Yi Chenfeng kept the severely injured Chaos Divine Beast, the golden clear dragon blood lion, into the heaven and earth mirror. Yi Chenfeng, don't struggle in vain. You will definitely die today. When Yu Zhongtian saw Yi Chenfeng keeping the Chaos Divine Beast, the golden clear dragon blood lion, he thought that Yi Chenfeng was at his wit's end. He revealed a cold expression and said with killing intent, "We don't know who will die yet." Life spirit technique, life burn. Yi Chenfeng roared and used the life spirit technique to burn 2,000 years of his life. A life force that terrified Yu Zhongtian and the others erupted from his body. In the next moment, Yi Chenfeng used the life force to continuously increase his strength. In the blink of an eye, Yi Chenfeng rose from a level 4 Defiant Beast King to a level 3 Combat Beast Emperor. The aura that leaked from his body made Yu Zhongtian and the others feel suffocated and hopeless. Mobile reading site, book address. For the convenience of your next reading, you can click on the Save button at the bottom to record this reading. You will be able to see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 626. Rank 3 Combat Beast Emperor. How is this possible? How did he raise his cultivation by a whole realm in an instant? At Yen. Yu Zhongtian and the others thought that Yi Chenfeng was at his wit's end, but in the blink of an eye, Yi Chenfeng had forcefully raised his cultivation to the rank of a rank 3 Combat Beast Emperor. Yu Zhongtian and the others had never even heard of such a shocking method, let alone seen it before. Yu Zhongtian, Mo Wang, you can go to hell now. There was a time limit to using the life spirit technique, so Yi Chenfeng did not waste any more time. Wielding the ruler weapon, he carried a shocking aura and attacked Yu Zhongtian and the others. Coiling Dragon Leg. When Yi Chenfeng closed in like a wild beast, Yu Bingyu's entire body spun, kicking out a series of dragon-like leg shadows, twisting and kicking towards several of Yi Chenfeng's major acupuncture points. Dark Extreme Dao. The coiling dragon leg, which was filled with several Dao intents, attacked. Yi Chenfeng's entire body's soul power surged into the sky. The illusion Dao pattern, heaven Dao pattern, death Dao pattern, and sword Dao pattern merged together and gathered in the center of his right palm. With a palm strike, the dark extreme Dao energy was like a flowing river. It was incomparably vigorous and endless. Layers of space were pierced through and exploded. Boom, boom, boom. A series of explosions rang out. Yu Bingyu's coiling dragon leg was blasted apart by the dark extreme Dao. The terrifying dark extreme Dao energy landed heavily on Yu Bingyu's right leg, causing it to go numb. Her tough leg bone was almost fractured, and her entire body was sent flying. 100 Battle Blood Shadow. When Mo Wang saw Yu Bingyu being sent flying by a single blow from Yi Chenfeng, he unsheathed the Sky Demon Dao armament and slashed out crimson shadows of various shapes and sizes at Yi Chenfeng. Divine Demon Bloodline, Ignite, Divine Demon Body. Yi Chenfeng once again ignited his Divine Demon Bloodline and transformed into the most terrifying Divine Demon Body. Without any fancy moves, he charged forward. Rumble. The 100 Battle Blood Shadows, which possessed astonishing attack power, were smashed into smithereens by Yi Chenfeng's meteorite-like attacks. Boundless shockwaves surged up from the ground and swept across the blue dome of heaven. Eternal Silence Millstone. As Yi Chenfeng relied on his absolute strength to shatter the blood shadow of 100 battles, Yu Zhongtian condensed the Eternal Silent Millstone. It twisted the void and crushed towards Yi Chenfeng. Great Sun Heaven Fire Fist. Black Flame Heavenly Fire. The Dao runes of fire poured into Yi Chenfeng's fist and turned into a scorching sun. It tore through the void with unimaginable power and shattered the millstone. Tao of Darkness Spear. The instant Yi Chunfeng shattered the millstone with a single punch, Mo Qianxin thrust his spear forward at the perfect time. The spear light filled with the Tao of Darkness was like a black flood dragon bursting out of its cave. It pierced toward Yi Chunfeng's chest. The heavenly Tao is heartless. Mo Qianxin's spear thrust forward. 7 heavenly Tao runes flew out of Yi Chunfeng's body and transformed into heavenly Tao power that struck the Tao of Darkness spear. The terrifying heavenly Tao power constantly shattered the Tao of Darkness, forcibly compressing the Tao of Darkness spear into the shape of a full moon. The powerful recoil passed through the sky spear and into Mo Qianxin's arm, causing him to almost lose his grip on the sky spear. Black Flood Dragon Heavenly Whip Bind. Yi Chunfeng erupted with astonishing power and completely suppressed Yu Zhongtian and the others. Yu Bingyu stabilized the injury on her leg and brought out the sky spear Black Flood Dragon Heavenly Whip, which coiled towards Yi Chunfeng. As the Black Flood Dragon Heavenly Whip coiled around Yi Chunfeng, Yu Zhongtian, Mo Wuang, and Mo Qianxin attacked Yi Chunfeng together, forcefully restricting his movements. Under the joint attack of the three, Yi Chunfeng was bound by the Black Flood Dragon Heavenly Whip and imprisoned in the air. Yi Chunfeng, you can die now. The moment the Black Flood Dragon Heavenly Whip coiled around Yi Chunfeng, Yu Zhongtian and the others executed their ultimate moves, forming waves of earth-shattering energy that bombarded Yi Chunfeng, wanting to take advantage of this opportunity to kill him. 15 million gene of strength explode. After using the life spirit technique, Yi Chunfeng, who had reached the level 3 Beast Emperor realm and transformed into his divine demon body, possessed 15 million gene of strength in a short period of time. When he unleashed his strongest strength, the terrifying energy surged into the Black Flood Dragon Heavenly Whip, forcibly breaking apart the sky tier Black Flood Dragon Heavenly Whip. Boom! 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 At this moment, Yu Zhongtian and the others' attacks came one after another, ruthlessly bombarding Yi Chunfeng's body, forming a terrifying energy storm that directly engulfed Yi Chunfeng. This time, even if he doesn't die, he will be seriously injured. Seeing Yi Chunfeng being engulfed by the energy storm, Yu Zhongtian heaved a sigh of relief and revealed a sinister expression when he thought of the destructive power of the move just now. But in the next moment, the smile on his face froze. Yi Chunfeng, who had erupted with a destructive power, tore apart the sky tier Black Flood Dragon Heavenly Whip that was binding him and walked out of the energy storm unscathed. What other tricks do you have? Use them all at once. Otherwise, I'm afraid you won't have a chance, Yi Chunfeng said in an overbearing manner. His soaring aura caused Yu Zhongtian and the others to feel a deep sense of fear. Go! Even after using their strongest Tao skill, they still couldn't injure Yi Chunfeng. Yu Zhongtian and the others wanted to retreat, wanting to leave this place as soon as possible. You want to leave now? It's too late. After saying that, Yi Chunfeng drew an afterimage in the air and intercepted them with a speed that was several times faster than the speed of light, launching a fatal attack at them. Boom! Mo Qianxin, who couldn't dodge in time, was struck by Yi Chunfeng's mysterious underworld extreme Tao. His body's defense was instantly shattered, and a large amount of blood spurted out from his mouth. His entire body flew back dozens of meters, heavily falling to the ground and fainting. Qianxin. Mo Wuang saw that Mo Qianxin had been heavily injured by Yi Chunfeng and was lying on the ground. His heart sank to the bottom. He quickly fused with the Sky Demon Tao weapon and slashed at Yi Chunfeng with all his strength, wanting to force him back and carve out a path of blood. Heartless Heavenly Tao. Mo Wuang was one with his weapon, and his aura was like a tidal wave crashing down. Yi Chunfeng did not dodge. He stood in his original spot, unmoving like a mountain. 8 marks of Heavenly Tao gushed out of his body, transforming into Heavenly Tao energy. Every additional Heavenly Tao rune greatly increased the power of the attack. The moment the 8 Heavenly Tao runes transformed into Heavenly Tao power, the space was torn apart. Boom. The two terrifying attacks collided, exploding with a destructive force. The powerful heavenly Tao power forcibly blocked Mo Wang's man-weapon unity, and forced him back. Large amounts of blood spurted out from his mouth. While Yi Chunfeng was heavily injuring Mo Wang, Yu Zhongtian and Yu Bingyu attacked from the left and right respectively. Two millstones of absolute silence were formed as they smashed towards Yi Chunfeng. Just as the two silent millstones were about to hit Yi Chunfeng suddenly disappeared. Mo Wang stared at him with wide eyes as Yi Chunfeng rushed toward him. Mo Wang, I'll send you to hell first! Yi Chunfeng roared. Rolling killing energy, 15 million gene of force, and countless heavenly Daos surged into the Emperor weapon, increasing its attack power to the greatest extent. 7 swords of judgment, heaven-shattering. Yi Futian slashed out with his sword, bringing with it an unparalleled power. The heaven-shattering sword cleaved through the space, creating a spatial crack that spread rapidly as it slashed towards Mo Wang, who had turned pale with fright. Boom! Thunder roared, and divine might shook the heavens. Mo Wang's defense was broken by Yi Chunfeng's sword, but his body was also cut in half by the heaven-shattering sword. Blood filled the sky as he fell into a pool of blood, dead. The number 1 genius of the Western continent, Mo Wang, had become a ghost under Yi Chunfeng's sword. Mobile reading site, book address. To make it easier for you to read this book next time, you can click on the Save button at the bottom to record this book. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blogs, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 627. Dead. Mo Wang is dead. Seeing Yi Chunfeng kill Mo Wang with a single strike, Yu Zhongtian and Yu Bingyu's foreheads immediately broke out in a cold sweat, revealing a look of fear. They never would have thought that their flawless plan would not only fail to kill Yi Chunfeng in the end, but also kill Mo Wang. Just as the two of them were filled with fear and wanted to leave this place as soon as possible, something unexpected happened again. Mo Qianxin, who should have been lying on the ground with serious injuries, suddenly appeared beside Mo Wang's corpse. Not only did he take away his Sky Demon Dao weapon, but he also used a strange demonic art to madly devour Mo Wang's pure blood. This aura, why is it so similar to Mo Fengyun's? Feeling the cold aura from Mo Qianxin's body, Yi Chunfeng raised his eyebrows, revealing a look of surprise. He was surprised that Mo Qianxin's aura was exactly the same as Mo Fengyun's. Flame Dragon destroys the world. While Mo Wang was engulfing Mo Wang's blood essence, Yi Chunfeng quickly slashed out with his sword. 55 sword Dao patterns transformed into 9 fire dragons that bared their fangs and brandished their claws as they slashed at Mo Wang. Exploding demonic saber. The 9 dragon bananas slashed out, and Mo Qianxin slashed out with his Sky Demon Dao weapon. The demonic saber, filled with explosive power, viciously slashed at the 9 flame dragon warships, forcibly breaking Yi Chunfeng's attack. There's something wrong with this Mo Qianxin. When he felt Mo Qianxin's sudden increase in strength, Yi Chunfeng raised his eyebrows as he sensed that something was amiss. Even Yu Zhongtian and Yu Bingyu had astonished expressions on their faces. They were astonished. Mo Qianxin, who was usually a man of few words, actually had such frightening strength. He was even stronger than Mo Wang. Who exactly are you? Yi Chunfeng frowned as he looked at the mysterious Mo Qianxin. He coldly said, "Are you Mo Qianxin or Mo Fengyun?" Demon Storm. Hearing Yi Chunfeng's words, Yu Bingyu felt incredulous. She looked at Mo Qianxin in disbelief. I am whoever you say I am. A strange smile appeared on Mo Qianxin's face as a surge of demonic qi erupted from his body. In an instant, Mo Qianxin's strength surpassed the limit of the defiant Beast King and reached the 2nd rank. Yu Zhongtian, Yu Bingyu, now is the best time to kill him. Once the secret technique to increase his strength disappears, he should have a period of weakness. When that time comes, his life and death will be in our hand. Emo Qian's eyes flashed. Yu Zhongtian and Yu Bingyu, who were thinking of retreating, spoke in a loud voice. It was also because Emo Qianxin felt that Yi Chunfeng's secret method of forcefully increasing his strength would not last for long that he was willing to reveal his greatest secret and true strength, and he used all his strength to kill Yi Chunfeng. "Br, who exactly are you?" Yu Zhongtian's gaze was solemn and mysterious. Emo Qianxin, who made him feel uneasy, asked loudly. At this moment Yu Zhongtian felt as if he was in the middle of a conspiracy. It was extremely uncomfortable. "Br, I am Emo Qianxin's clone. If you are willing to help me kill Yi Chunfeng, we will split the secrets and opportunities on his body equally." In order to convince Yu Zhongtian and Yu Bingyu, Emo Qianxin had no choice but to reveal his secret. "Br, Emo Qianxin's clone." After knowing Emo Qianxin's identity, Yu Zhongtian and Yu Bingyu's hearts were in turmoil. They had never dreamed that Emo Qianxin would have such a method to have his clone hide beside them and wait for an opportunity to make a move. "Br, what do you think?" Looking at Yu Zhongtian and Emo Qianxin's flickering light, Emo Qianxin continued to bewitch them. "This Yi Chunfeng definitely has a heaven-shaking secret on him. If we can obtain his secret, it is very likely that it will change our fate in the future. Wealth comes from danger. If we miss this opportunity, it will be difficult for us to kill him in the future." Sect Master Emo, can we believe your words? Yu Bingyu found that she was not Emo Qianxin at all. He had hidden too deeply. It was so deep that it made people afraid. "Br, you are the genius disciples of the Yu family, and I have always respected the Yu family. With this relationship, do you think I will harm you?" Emo Qianxin asked back. "Br, okay, we will bet. If we can't kill Yi Chunfeng today, he will definitely become our nightmare in the future." Yu Zhongtian took a deep breath and made up his mind. Emo Qianxin, Yu Zhongtian, and Yu Bingyu reached a consensus in an extremely short period of time. Yi Chunfeng wielded his king armament and attacked Emo Qianxin, wanting to kill this potential threat. "Br, attack!" Emo Qianxin roared and charged forward with the Sky Demon Dao weapon. He clashed with Yi Chunfeng head-on, and terrifying attacks swept out in all directions. "Br, Black Demon Venerable Talisman, burn!" A black talisman lit up in Yu Zhongtian's hand, summoning the Black Demon Venerable that was comparable to a level 3 Beast Emperor expert. It carried a soaring demonic aura and attacked Yi Chunfeng, launching a fatal attack. "Br, Yu Zhongtian, this should be your ultimate trump card." Suddenly attacked by the Black Demon Venerable, Yi Chunfeng did not panic. The vermilion bird cauldron flew out of his body and released a scorching hot energy, suppressing the Black Demon Venerable with the force of Mount Tai. "Br, boom!" The vermilion bird cauldron suppressed the Black Demon Venerable, and a destructive power immediately erupted, ruthlessly suppressing the Black Demon Venerable. The terrifying power pressed his strong legs into the hard ground. Being suppressed by the vermilion bird cauldron, the Black Demon Venerable roared in anger and immediately counterattacked, continuously releasing demonic aura to attack the vermilion bird cauldron, wanting to shake it off. But under the amplification of the vermilion bird soul, the suppression of the vermilion bird cauldron became stronger and stronger, and a large number of cracks spread throughout the Black Demon Venerable's body. "Br, Great Demon Slaying Dragon Blade." The Eye Cauldron was about to seriously injure the Black Demon Venerable. Emo Qianxin slashed with the Sky Demon Dao weapon, and the demonic dragon-like blade slashed fiercely on the vermilion bird cauldron. "Br1." A powerful rebounding force sounded from the vermilion bird cauldron, resisting Emo Qianxin's attack head-on, and the surface of the vermilion bird cauldron vibrated intensely. "Br, Scarlet Thunder Pearl." The Eye Cauldron was shaken, and the Black Demon Venerable escaped under Emo Qianxin's all-out attack. Yi Chunfeng shot out the Quasi-Dao weapon Scarlet Thunder Pearl in time, bombarding the Black Demon Venerable's chest. Like a storm, the violent thunder of death poured out from the Scarlet Thunder Pearl, frantically destroying the Black Demon Venerable and aggravating his injuries. Br. Sky Demon Dance. The Black Demon Venerable was constantly being destroyed. Yu Zhongtian and Yu Bingyu both condensed demonic shadows, holding terrifying demonic weapon phantoms, and launched a tide-like attack at Yi Chunfeng. But Yi Chunfeng, who used the life spirit technique and burned his life force, was too terrifying. Not only were the two demonic shadows unable to harm Yi Chunfeng at all, they were torn apart by him instead. Br. Sky Demon Slash of the 10 Directions. Yi Chunfeng relied on absolute attacks to break through Yu Zhongtian and Yu Bingyu's attack. Mo Qianxin used his ultimate killing move, and the will of the great Dao gushed out of the Sky Demon Dao weapon, turning into a cross that cut through the dome of heaven and slashed towards Yi Chunfeng. Br. The Heavenly Dao is merciless. Break. The Sky Demon Slash of the 10 Directions attacked, and Yi Chunfeng once again blasted out his maximum limit of 8 Heavenly Dao patterns, which transformed into Heavenly Dao patterns and blasted forward, breaking Mo Qianxin's ultimate killing move in one fell swoop. Br. Vermilion Bird Cauldron, Scarlet Thunder Pearl, Destroy. After breaking through the attacks of Mo Qianxin and the other two, Yi Chunfeng spat out a mouthful of blood and fused it into the Vermilion Bird Cauldron, rapidly increasing its attack power. Br. The Black Demon Venerable let out a painful howl as the Vermilion Bird Cauldron, whose power increased exponentially, completely crushed the Black Demon Venerable's huge body. At this time, the Scarlet Thunder Pearl released endless thunder of death, which penetrated his body like a tide, destroying him in one fell swoop. Please give me a red packet. This book came from /book/html/30/30709/indexedmal. Chapter 628. Sect Patriarch Mo, are we still going to persist? When the Black Devil Lord was destroyed by Yi Chunfeng's 2 Dao artifacts, Yu Zhongtian became fearful. After losing his final trump card, his situation became very dangerous. It was very likely that he would be killed by Yi Chunfeng mercilessly. Persist. I don't believe that he can increase his strength without limit. He will definitely have a period of weakness. Mo Qianxin gritted his teeth and persisted bitterly. He constantly executed powerful Dao techniques to attack Yi Chunfeng, exhausting the life force surging in Yi Chunfeng's body. 7 layers of slaughter halo, 15 million gene of force, erupt. Facing Mo Qianxin's tide-like attacks, Yi Chunfeng didn't show any signs of weakness. The surging slaughter force and 15 million gene of force poured into his fists, shaking the space as he attacked Mo Qianxin and the others with terrifying strength. Mo Qianxin had been refined by Mo Fengyun for hundreds of years and had completely transformed into a human form. His body was far superior to ordinary people. However, when facing Yi Chunfeng's fists that were comparable to extreme heaven artifacts and filled with 15 million gene of force, he still couldn't resist. Bingyu, let's burn our blood essence for one last fight. If we can't severely injure Yi Chunfeng within 15 minutes, we will immediately leave this place. Yu Zhongtian steeled his heart and transmitted a message. All right. Yu Bingyu nodded. She burned her blood essence to the maximum extent and raised her strength to the peak for one last fight. At the next moment, Yu Zhongtian and Yu Bingyu took the risk and approached Yi Chunfeng. They wielded powerful heaven artifacts and coordinated with Mo Qianxin's ferocious attacks to suppress Yi Chunfeng's attack. 7 Swords of Judgment, Extreme Cold. As Yi Chunfeng defended against Mo Qianxin and the other two's attacks, his life force surged as he soared into the air. 55 sword Dao patterns shot out from his body, transforming into the power of extreme frost that froze the space and attacked Mo Qianxin and the other two. 7 Swords of Judgment, Lightning Devour, Waning Moon, Eclipse Sun, and Collapse the Heavens. When Mo Qianxin and the other two shattered the Sword of Extreme Frost, Yi Chunfeng executed the 7 Swords of Judgment in succession. The terrifying Sword of Lightning, Sword of Waning Moon, Sword of Eclipse, and Sword of Heaven Collapse intertwined with each other. The terrifying attacks shook the 9 heavens, destroying Mo Qianxin and the other two's attacks and destroying their bodies. Motherf *Ker, what kind of secret technique is Yi Qinfeng using? Why doesn't he show any signs of weakening after attacking for so long? After fighting for an incense stick's worth of time, Mo Qianxin discovered that Yi Qinfeng was becoming fiercer and fiercer as he fought, showing no signs of weakening. However, his arms had been shaken to the point of almost losing all feeling, and his entire body was covered in crisscrossing cracks. He was heavily injured. In the middle of the moon, Yu Bingyu also had thoughts of retreating. She didn't dare to stay for long and wanted to leave this place as soon as possible. However, Yi Qinfeng did not give them the chance to leave. He controlled the 3 heavenly spirits and the 2 Tao treasures to continuously launch ferocious attacks, attacking them with all his might. Roar! At this moment, a painful roar sounded in the chaotic sky. The sword spirit puppet took advantage of the fact that the black praying mantis was heavily injured and had a slow reaction to slash out with a thunderous sword, ruthlessly slashing the black praying mantis's slender neck. The terrifying Emperor Heaven sword almost severed Black Mantis's neck, causing a large amount of blood to spurt out. Motherf *Ker, who created this puppet? The demon used all his skills to attack, but he was unable to harm the sword puppet at all. Meanwhile, his and Black Mantis's injuries were getting worse and worse, and their lives were hanging by a thread. Helpless, the severely injured demon and Black Mantis decisively gave up on attacking the sword puppet and fled out of the collapsed shrine. Bingyu, let's go. Break out with all our might. When the severely injured Yu Zhongtian and the others saw that the demon and Black Mantis were escaping, their expressions changed as they decisively turned and fled. Isn't it too late for you to escape now? Yi Qinfeng's body flashed like a shooting star and intercepted them. He wanted to cooperate with the sword puppet and kill them all. 10 directions Heavenly Devil Slash! Mo Qianxin roared as he gripped the Heavenly Devil Dao weapon with both hands and unleashed a cross-shaped sword slash that tore through space and slashed toward Yi Qinfeng, wanting to force him to retreat. 7 Swords of Judgment, Heaven Crumbling. The slash of the heavenly demon of the 10 directions whistled through the air, but Yi Qinfeng did not dodge. Countless wills of the great path gushed out of his body, transforming into a sword of will that slashed at the slash of the 10 directions with devastating force. The terrifying might of the sword shattered the slash of the 10 directions, and the remaining force of the attack continued on to Mo Qianxin. Devil Shadow Fiery Light. At this critical moment, Mo Qianxin's entire body ignited as he transformed into a fiery shadow that charged toward the heaven-crumbling sword. Boom! The remaining power of the heaven-crumbling sword ruthlessly struck Mo Qianxin's body, splitting the fiery shadow apart. Large amounts of fiery light flickered in Yi Qinfeng's eyes. Relying on his powerful physical defense to withstand the remaining power of the heaven-crumbling sword, Mo Qianxin did not slow down at all. He broke through Yi Qinfeng's obstruction and fled with all his might. The heavenly Tao is merciless. The instant Mo Qianxin broke through the obstruction, 8 heavenly Tao inscriptions transformed into heavenly Tao inscriptions that blasted forward. He wanted to heavily injure Mo Qianxin and kill this clone of his. Buzz, buzz, buzz. Just as the heavenly Tao was about to strike Mo Qianxin's body, array talismans appeared around him, forming layers of defensive light barriers that forcibly blocked the heavenly Tao inscriptions. This Mo Qianxin is indeed not easy to kill. Mo Qianxin used a large number of defensive array talismans to block the heavenly Tao inscriptions. He flew faster and faster, farther and farther away. Yi Qinfeng, who did not have much life force left, sighed helplessly. He cast his gaze in 2 different directions, toward Yu Zhongtian and Yu Bingyu, who were fleeing in panic. Due to their heavy injuries, Yu Zhongtian and Yu Bingyu's speed was greatly reduced. Yi Qinfeng glanced in the direction that the 2 of them were fleeing. He decisively increased his speed and chased after Yu Zhongtian. He wanted to kill him first to prevent any future troubles. Yi Chunfeng, I am a member of the Yu family. My grandfather is an elder of the Yu family. If you dare to harm my life, my grandfather will definitely not let you off. Sensing that Yi Chunfeng was getting closer and closer, Yu Zhongtian could smell the threat of death. He was like a frightened bird that had been startled by the twang of a bough. He had no choice but to use the Yu family's name to pressure Yi Chunfeng. Yu Zhongtian, I originally thought that you were a great person. However, I didn't expect you to be so spineless. A person like you who doesn't have a firm heart in the martial way is not worthy to reach the peak of the martial way. Let me send you into the cycle of reincarnation earlier. Yi Chunfeng was unmoved as he spoke with killing intent. Yi Chunfeng, if you are willing to let me off, I can agree to any of your requests. Even if you want my Yu family's inheritance, I can do it. Yu Zhongtian kept throwing out huge temptations, begging Jiang Yi to spare his life. Not interested. Yi Chunfeng was never merciful to his enemies, even if Yu Zhongtian had a terrifying background. Dual extreme ancient heavenly water, freeze. When he was within attacking range, Yi Chunfeng blasted out the dual extreme ancient heavenly water and attacked Yu Zhongtian, who was severely injured and was flying slower and slower. Crack! After being attacked by the dual extreme ancient heavenly water, a large amount of ice instantly froze Yu Zhongtian's body and greatly slowed his flying speed. In the next moment, a blinding sword light lit up the horizon. It was mixed with several Dao intent. It was like a meteor that had fallen to the mortal world. It split the sky and slashed towards Yu Zhongtian, who was screaming in fear. Qi! Yu Zhongtian's body was split open by the flying immortal's sword and turned into flesh and blood. The top genius of the Yu family, Yu Zhongtian, was killed by Yi Chunfeng after Mo Wang. Mobile reading site, book address. In order to make it easier for you to read it next time, you can click on the Save button below to record this reading record. You will be able to see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 629. Sword Puppet, let's go! After killing Yu Zhongtian, Yi Chunfeng, whose life force was almost depleted, did not continue to pursue. He kept Yu Zhongtian and Mo Wang's belongings and kept the almost depleted sword puppet back into his body. He quickly flew away from the ruins of the shrine and found a hidden pool. He killed the heavenly beast hiding at the bottom of the pool and hid inside to recuperate. Roughly 3 days later, Yi Chunfeng healed his injuries and recovered his depleted soul power. He took out the Emperor Heaven Sword, which was a Dao artifact, and controlled the God-Eater brain to deduce the 5 sword Dao patterns in the sword case. In just one day, Yi Chunfeng had comprehended 5 sword Dao patterns in the Emperor Sky Sword's case. His sword Dao intent had reached the 6th level of the Heavenly Sword realm. Borrowing the power of the 60 sword Dao patterns, Yi Chunfeng would be able to unleash the power of an extreme heaven artifact even if he used the most ordinary earth artifact. I wonder what treasures Mo Wang and Yu Zhongtian have in their universe rings. Yi Chunfeng took out Mo Wang and Yu Zhongtian's belongings and controlled the God-Eater brain to break the restrictions in the universe rings and infiltrate them. Heaven artifact Blood Skull, Extreme Heaven Spear, 18 stalks of Heaven-tier spiritual herbs. Yi Chunfeng's soul spirit entered Yu Zhongtian and Mo Wang's universe rings. He found large amounts of soul elixirs, soul crystals, heaven and earth spirit herbs, and Heaven-tier spiritual artifact. This included Mo Fengyun's heaven artifact Blood Skull and the Extreme Heaven Spear that Yu Zhongtian obtained from the 100 Miles tombs. There are 2 low heaven crystals. At the end of the inspection, Yi Chunfeng unexpectedly found 2 low heaven crystals in Yu Zhongtian's universe ring. These 2 low heaven crystals were most likely obtained from the 100 Miles tombs. Sword Puppet Fuse. Yi Chunfeng summoned the sword puppet and fused with the 2 low heaven crystals, greatly replenishing the sword puppet's depleted energy. However, because the quality of the 2 low heaven crystals was not high enough, the sword puppet's strength was affected to a certain extent after the fusion. It could only reach the level of a level 6 beast emperor. However, it was enough for Yi Chunfeng to protect himself. If I'm not mistaken, there should be a black divine palace in the dragon abyss that's suppressing the head of that demon. Yi Chunfeng exhaled a mouthful of turbid air and kept the 2's belongings into his universe mirror. Then, he emerged from the dark pool and hesitated whether he should continue to search for the divine palace that suppressed the demon's head. Although releasing the demon's head would make his situation more dangerous, Yi Chunfeng had the sword puppet, so he still had a fighting chance. Furthermore, Yi Chunfeng felt that there was still a great opportunity in the dragon abyss. Coupled with the temptation of the Emperor's celestial sword, he decided to take the risk and search for the 4th black divine palace that suppressed the demon's skull. He wanted to fight for an even greater opportunity in the dragon abyss. Ghost soldiers, ghost generals. Not long after Yi Chunfeng flew out of the dark pool, he realized that there was a large number of spear-wielding ghost soldiers and ghost generals that were riding ghost beasts. They were roaming in the dragon abyss. At this moment, the ghost soldiers and ghost generals that were emitting a thick death aura discovered Yi Chunfeng. They let out a bone-chilling wail and surged towards him like a tidal wave. They wanted to kill him and devour his flesh and blood. Extreme ancient heavenly lightning, black flame heavenly fire, open up a path. The extreme yang heavenly lightning and heavenly fire were the nemesis of ghosts. As the tidal wave of ghosts surged over, Yi Chunfeng immediately summoned the extreme ancient heavenly lightning and black flame heavenly fire. They revolved around his body and formed a powerful lightning and fire whirlpool that swept towards the incoming ghost soldiers and ghost generals. Instantly, a large number of ghosts were shredded. Why are there so many ghosts in the dragon abyss all of a sudden? Yi Chunfeng controlled the 2 heavenly spirits to bombard the ghosts for half an incense's time. He realized that the number of ghosts in the dragon abyss did not decrease. Instead, there were more and more of them. The dense death aura was extremely oppressive and uncomfortable. Sensing that the ghosts in the dragon abyss would not be finished in a short period of time, Yi Chunfeng immediately released the soul power in his mind and searched for a direction with fewer ghosts. He was prepared to break out of the encirclement and leave. Northwest, there are fewer ghosts there. After sensing for a while, Yi Chunfeng unexpectedly realized that the number of ghosts in the northwest was obviously less than the other directions. He did not think much and flew over there without hesitation. Wrath of divine punishment. After being obstructed by a large number of ghosts, the 3 heavenly spirits quickly fused together and formed a tricolored ball of light that was filled with destructive power. It crushed everything in the void and pressed forward with indomitable will, destroying the ghosts in a frenzy. Soon enough, Yi Chunfeng, who had continuously used the wrath of divine punishment, killed his way out of the encirclement. He arrived at the northwest direction and quickly broke out of the encirclement. Screech! Yi Chunfeng killed his way out of the encirclement. The densely packed ghosts continuously let out angry cries as they chased after Yi Chunfeng. It was as if they would not give up until they killed him. Strange, why are there so many ghosts in the other directions besides the northwest? Could it be that these ghosts are doing it on purpose? Is there some great danger in the northwest? After flying for a while, Yi Chunfeng felt that something was wrong. He had a feeling that these ghosts chasing after him were doing it on purpose. Their goal was to drive him to a certain place in the northwest. In order to confirm his guess, the God-Eater brain's soul power completely radiated out and continuously extended to the northwest. Soon, the rapidly released soul power detected a powerful array pattern energy in the northwest direction. Indeed, there is a problem in the northwest. Yi Chunfeng frowned slightly and muttered to himself, "Could it be that these ghosts are under the control of the devil and are purposely forcing me to that restriction? The 4th shrine in the Dragon Abyss is hidden in that restriction." Thinking of this possibility, Yi Chunfeng, who had something to rely on, did not slow down. The golden rock's wings rapidly flapped, creating a gust of wind as he flew towards the restriction in the distance. That is the fourth shrine. Flying outside the restriction hidden in space, Yi Chunfeng discovered that above the scarlet clouds, there was a black shrine that occupied an area of several dozen miles. It was devouring light and emitted an ancient aura. It seems like my guess was right. This is all part of the devil's scheme. Looking at the black divine palace in the sky, Yi Chunfeng's guess was confirmed. That ferocious demon was hiding in the endless tide of ghosts, controlling these ghosts to force him out of the fourth divine palace. After exposing the demon's scheme, Yi Chunfeng didn't back down. Without hesitation, he walked into the formation ruins. In the next moment, Yi Chunfeng discovered that the scene in front of him had changed. The black shrine sitting in the scarlet clouds had disappeared, and in its place was a six-pointed star formation that enveloped the void and emitted a powerful pressure. What a terrifying suppressive force! It seems that the devil's head suppressed by the fourth shrine is not to be underestimated. Otherwise, the surroundings of the fourth shrine would not be so terrifying. Yi Chunfeng looked at the slowly flowing six-pointed star formation that had experienced the vicissitudes of time. He could not help but reveal a dignified expression as he pondered whether it was worth the risk. Only by being fearless can one prove their Tao. The more dangerous a place is, the more likely it is to have a great opportunity. If I can't obtain a great opportunity in the Dragon Abyss and increase my strength, once the Dragon Abyss closes and I am transported outside, my situation will become even more dangerous. Thinking of Mo Fengyun, Yu Qinyuan, and the others guarding the Dragon Abyss, Yi Chunfeng knew that he had no other choice. He steeled his heart and decided to take the risk and enter the mysterious fourth shrine. After making the decision, Yi Chunfeng took a deep breath. His entire body was like an arrow that had left the bow. He soared into the sky and rapidly approached the slowly flowing six-pointed star formation. When Yi Chunfeng rushed towards the six-pointed star formation, the devil and the black praying mantis that were hiding in the ghost tide appeared. They looked at Yi Chunfeng, who was soaring into the sky, and revealed a strange smile. Mobile reading site, book address. For the convenience of your next reading, you can click on the Save button at the bottom to record your reading record. You will be able to see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 630. Xianming Extreme Dao Break. Yi Chunfeng flew to the bottom of the six-pointed astral array at an alarming speed. He immediately unleashed his Dao intent and formed the Xianming Extreme Dao Force that was like a raging dragon. He then struck the six-pointed astral array heavily. Rumble! After being attacked by the Xianming Extreme Dao, a thunderous sound rang out from the six-pointed astral array. Countless array patterns appeared in the six-pointed astral array and connected with one another. 6 star pearls were formed at the 6 corners of the array. In the next moment, the 6 star pearls fell and attacked Yi Chunfeng with blinding starlight. Emperor Celestial Sword Break. The 6 star pearls flew over uniformly. Yi Chunfeng immediately drew his Emperor Celestial Sword and unleashed a force of 14 million kilograms as he pierced it with all his might. When the unstoppable Emperor Celestial Sword pierced the first star pearl, a force that made Yi Chunfeng feel suffocated was unleashed from the star pearl. It passed through the Emperor Celestial Sword and into Yi Chunfeng's arm. Although the Emperor Celestial Sword had neutralized 90% of the star pearl's force, the remaining 10% still caused Yi Chunfeng's arm to feel numb. Wind Riding Technique. After experiencing the power of the star pearls formed by the 6-pointed astral array, Yi Chunfeng did not dare to take it head-on. He quickly twisted his body and turned into an unpredictable hurricane. He moved around in midair and dodged the attacks of the other 5 star pearls. Yi Chunfeng relied on his unpredictable speed to dodge the attack. The 6 star pearls seemed to have a life of their own as they chased after Yi Chunfeng and pierced through his body. Dragon's bloodline burn. Yi Chunfeng had no choice but to burn his dragon's bloodline. He instantly increased his soul power by 3 times and formed 7 killing halos to retaliate with all his might. Sword Dao Intent, Level 6 Heaven, Break. As the dragon's bloodline burned, 60 sword Dao patterns surged out of Yi Chunfeng's body. They surged into the Emperor's celestial sword along with the 7 killing halos and struck a star pearl that was close to him. The Emperor's celestial sword fused with 60 sword Dao patterns, and its attack power instantly reached an extremely terrifying level. When it struck the star pearl, the sword Dao Intent immediately penetrated the star pearl and shattered it. After shattering a star bead, Yi Chunfeng continued to attack. The Emperor Heaven's sword was fused with 60 sword Dao patterns and was unstoppable. The remaining 5 star beads couldn't withstand the ferocious attacks of the Emperor Heaven's sword and shattered one by one. 7 swords of judgment, Eclipse. After forcefully shattering the 6 star pearls, Yi Chunfeng rushed straight up. A crimson sword of light, which looked like a scorching sun, broke out of his body. Mixed with the will of the great Tao, it tore apart the space and heavily hacked into the center of the 6-pointed star formation. Under the amplification of the great Tao will and the Emperor's celestial sword, the Sword of Eclipse was extremely terrifying. It was enough to instantly kill a Grade 1 combat beast emperor. However, when it struck the hexagram array, it merely caused a slight tremor but was unable to crack it. Rumble! Just as Yi Chunfeng was astonished by the power of the hexagram array, the restless hexagram array started to circulate rapidly. Tens of thousands of array patterns gathered rapidly and formed a dazzling river of stars, which swept towards Yi Chunfeng. Heaven Dao's Heartless. The river of stars, which was flickering with white light, surged over. 6 Heaven Dao patterns shot out from Yi Chunfeng's body and transformed into the might of the Heaven Dao. Boom! 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 A series of deafening explosions rang out as the Heaven Dao's Heartless and the river of stars clashed, creating boundless sparks. In just 2 breaths of time, the Heaven Dao's Heartless formed by the 6 Heaven Dao patterns was broken by the river of stars formed by the hexagram array. The terrifying river of stars rushed downwards and continued to sweep towards Yi Chunfeng. Sword Puppet. After witnessing how terrifying the river of stars was, Yi Chunfeng decisively summoned the sword puppet and borrowed its strength to shatter the roaring river of stars. It seems like forcefully breaking the array is not a viable option. Yi Chunfeng discovered that the stronger his attack, the more terrifying the hexagram array's counterattack would be. Helpless, he gave up on the idea of forcefully breaking the array. He flapped his golden pung wings and flew in the air, controlling the God-Eater brain's power to radiate into the hexagram array. He was trying to deduce the array's core. At the same time, Mo Qianxin and Yu Bingyu, who had just escaped from Yi Chunfeng, gathered together. After witnessing Yi Chunfeng's shocking means and strength, Yu Bingyu didn't dare to find trouble with Yi Chunfeng. Instead, she prayed that she wouldn't encounter him in the Dragon Abyss to avoid any accidents. Mo Qianxin also gave up on the idea of killing Yi Chunfeng in the Dragon Abyss. After a discussion, he and Yu Bingyu flew carefully in the Dragon Abyss. While waiting for the Dragon Abyss to close, they also searched for other opportunities in the Dragon Abyss to increase their strength as much as possible. Days passed, and Yi Chunfeng controlled the God-Eater brain to deduce for 3 days. Finally, he managed to deduce the core of the hexagram array. Could this be a dragon's skull? After locking onto the hexagram array's core, Yi Chunfeng revealed an expression of deep shock. That was because his powerful soul had discovered a water tank-sized skull that was filled with a powerful dragon's aura. It was suppressing the array's core. And from the dragon's aura that this skull contained, it was very likely to be a dragon's skull. It was extremely precious. What extravagance to actually use a dragon's skull to lay down such a huge array. Just where did this Deity come from? Just how strong was he back then? After understanding how terrifying the hexagram array was, Yi Chunfeng was very curious about this Deity that Emo Qianxin spoke of. He really wanted to know just who this Deity was. Sword puppet, help me break the array. After locking onto the hexagram array's core, Yi Chunfeng and the sword puppet soared into the sky. They quickly approached the hexagram array and attacked the array's core with all their strength. Roar! When the array's core was attacked, a deafening dragon's roar immediately sounded out from the hexagram array. A large number of array patterns gathered in the array's core and fused with the dragon's skull that was suppressing the array's core. They condensed into a ferocious dragon's head that was emitting starlight. Sword puppet, you will be the main attacker. I will support you. Yi Chunfeng, who had comprehended many Dao intents, might have astonishing attacking power, but there was still a large gap between him and the sword puppet. In order to break the hexagram array in one fell swoop, he lent the Emperor's celestial sword to the sword puppet and ordered the sword puppet to use all its strength to destroy the dragon's head. Once the dragon's head was destroyed, the hexagram array's power would plummet. By then, Yi Chunfeng would have the opportunity to break this array and enter the fourth palace above the crimson clouds. Swish! The sword puppet held the Emperor's celestial sword and soared into the sky. It tore apart the starlight dragon's roar as it approached it and launched a fierce attack. Streaks of shocking sword light continuously slashed on the starlight dragon's head, forcibly splitting the dragon's head that was formed by countless array patterns. Vermilion Bird Cauldron. While the sword puppet was ferociously attacking the starlight dragon's head, Yi Chunfeng took out his Dao treasure, the Vermilion Bird Cauldron, and spat out a mouthful of essence blood into the cauldron, activating the Vermilion Bird's soul and amplifying the Vermilion Bird Cauldron's attacking power. It then struck the dragon's head like a meteor. Boom, 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 boom. The instant the Vermilion Bird Cauldron and the dragon's head clashed, a destructive energy spread out from the void, causing the entire void to distort on a large scale. It disrupted the array patterns in the hexagram array. Withstanding the destructive storm that was sweeping towards him, Yi Chunfeng took out his scarlet thunder pearl and controlled it to release boundless deathly lightning, bombarding the dragon's head and the hexagram array. As the attacks became more and more intense, the starlight dragon's head was filled with cracks from the sword puppet's attacks. The hexagram array's power also decreased accordingly. Finally, the sword puppet was the main attacker, while Yi Chunfeng controlled his two Dao treasures to support him. After attacking ferociously for more than an hour, the terrifying dragon's head was finally destroyed. The hexagram array's power was also reduced to its limit. Hexagram array, break for me! Yi Chunfeng roared. The Vermilion Bird Cauldron, the Scarlet Thunder Pearl, and the sword puppet attacked the hexagram array's core together, tearing apart the hexagram array in one fell swoop, revealing the dragon's skull at the center of the array. Keep! Yi Chunfeng moved his mind and ordered the sword puppet to withstand the explosive power of the hexagram array. He kept the dragon's skull into his Qiankuan ring. His body flashed, and he leaped through the torn hexagram array, penetrated the layers of red clouds, and flew to the Black Shrine. Mobile reading website, book address. In order to facilitate your next reading, you can click on the Save button at the bottom to record this reading record. You will be able to see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 631. Majestic, lofty, sacred and inviolable, standing below the fourth shrine, Yi Chunfeng felt a vigorous suppressive force rushing towards him. It made his heart palpitate and made him feel insignificant. At Yen. What exactly is in this fourth shrine? Why is it emitting such a horrifying aura? Yi Chunfeng felt that the aura of the previous three shrines added together wasn't as terrifying as this fourth shrine. It must be extremely dangerous inside. The greatest opportunity in the dragon abyss might also be here. Fortune comes from danger. Let's go all out. Yi Chunfeng took a deep breath and stepped on the black stairs. He walked towards the majestic shrine without hesitation. He wanted to push open the heavy bronze door that was inlaid with 2 beast heads and enter. 1. When he reached the bottom of the shrine, Yi Chunfeng suddenly noticed a change in the scene in front of him. He realized that he had walked into a scorching space. A ball of black flame was floating in the void, releasing scorching energy that was burning the space. Heavenly fire. This shrine is actually protected by the heavenly fire. Looking at the heavenly fire in front of him, Yi Chunfeng's eyes lit up. If the black heavenly fire could merge with this ball of heavenly fire, it would be able to evolve. At that time, the power of the wrath of Deity's punishment would reach the standard of a middle Dao technique. Those who approach without permission shall die. The black heavenly fire transformed into a human form. It looked coldly at Yi Chunfeng and spoke without a trace of emotion. Hearing the warning of the black heavenly fire, Yi Chunfeng was unmoved. He took heavy steps and walked over step by step. The aura he emitted was getting stronger and stronger. Courting death. Seeing that Yi Chunfeng didn't listen to its advice, the black heavenly fire was instantly enraged. The flames that were filled with the power of the dead spirits transformed into a huge flaming hand. It swept up a scorching heat wave and slapped towards Yi Chunfeng, trying to kill him. Dual polar ancient heavenly water, break. The flaming hand slapped over. The dual polar ancient heavenly water shot out from Yi Chunfeng's body. It froze the void and clashed with the flaming hand that was descending from the sky. Extremely cold air seeped into the flaming hand. In the blink of an eye, the flaming hand was frozen in midair by the dual polarity ancient heavenly water. Damn it! You actually subdued a type of worldly water. Looking at the dual polar ancient heavenly water, the human figure formed by the black heavenly fire revealed a strong sense of hostility. The body of flames instantly transformed into a huge black fireball, dragging a black tail as it bombarded Yi Chunfeng. Scarlet lightning bead, break. The scarlet lightning bead flew out of Yi Chunfeng's mouth, crashing into the black fireball. In an instant, the scarlet lightning bead burst out, destroying the black fireball in a frenzy. The black fireball was riddled with holes, greatly damaging the black heavenly flames. Dual polarity ancient heavenly water, freeze. When the black heavenly fire was severely injured, the dual extreme ancient heavenly water released an extremely cold chi that froze the black heavenly fire's main body. With the dual polarity ancient heavenly water seeping into its body, the furious black heavenly fire activated the formation hidden in the space of flames. Instantly, the entire space was set ablaze. Waves of heat surged into the black heavenly fire, repairing the cracks in its body and increasing its power. Chaos divine wood, suppress the heavenly fire. Feeling the black heavenly fire's power rising steadily, Yi Chunfeng didn't waste any more time. He summoned the chaos divine wood, condensed dense 5-colored roots, and suppressed the black heavenly fire. No. What is this? Being suppressed by the chaos divine wood, the black heavenly fire was terrified. It kept compressing the power of flames, trying to incinerate the 5-colored roots that had seeped into its body. However, the chaos divine wood was its nemesis. No matter how the black heavenly fire burned, it couldn't incinerate the 5-colored root. Slowly, the black heavenly fire's power weakened and was finally devoured by the chaos divine wood. Dead soul heavenly fire, the dead soul fire born from the extreme of death. It's a heavenly fire that has been nurtured for more than 100,000 years. When the chaos divine wood devoured the black heavenly fire, information about the black heavenly fire appeared in Yi Chunfeng's mind. Dead soul heavenly fire, black flame heavenly fire, fuse. With a thought, Yi Chunfeng borrowed the power of the chaos divine wood to control the black flame heavenly fire and the dead soul heavenly fire to fuse and undergo a transformation. Without the dead soul heavenly fire, The heavenly fire great array that enveloped Yi Qinfeng had a drastic decrease in power. Finally, it was torn apart by the 60 sword Dao patterns controlled by Yi Qinfeng. After breaking the heavenly fire great array, Yi Qinfeng came to the hall door that was a few hundred feet tall. It was inlaid with 2 malevolent beast heads. He pushed the hall door with force and wanted to push it open to enter the mysterious divine hall. So heavy. Why is the door of this divine hall so heavy? Yi Qinfeng raised his strength to 2.5 million kilograms and tried to push the hall door with the beast heads, but he couldn't push it open. He immediately raised his strength to 10 million kilograms, but he still couldn't push the hall door open. 14 million kilograms of strength. Yi Qinfeng took a deep breath. The power of the 4 soul pearls burst out and pushed his strength to increase. The surging power surged in his body and poured into his arms. Finally, he pushed open a gap that was wide enough for one person to enter the divine hall that was filled with unknown dangers. Such a powerful suppression power. My cultivation level is actually being suppressed. After entering the divine hall, Yi Qinfeng felt a suffocating suppression power filling up the divine hall. It pressed down on his body ruthlessly and suppressed his cultivation level to that of a Class 1 reverse beast king. Even breathing became difficult for him. Hu! Yi Qinfeng took a deep breath and filled his body with 5 million kilograms of strength. He resisted against the overwhelming suppression power and walked into the divine hall with heavy step. He realized that there was a light array floating above the divine hall. It was covered with array patterns and was rotating slowly. There are so many layers of defense just outside. Looking at the light array above, Yi Qinfeng revealed a grave expression. The heavenly fire was guarding the door, and the light array was protecting the front hall. All these signs indicated that this divine hall was extremely unusual. If not for the sword puppet, Yi Qinfeng wouldn't have the courage to enter this 4th divine hall. Vermilion bird cauldron, break. Looking at the light formation above his head, Yi Qinfeng, whose strength was suppressed, took out the vermilion bird cauldron. He spat several mouthfuls of blood essence into the vermilion bird cauldron, awakening the soul of the vermilion bird. Then, it crashed into the light formation in the air. Boom, boom, boom. A deafening explosion sounded. The vermilion bird cauldron and the light array in the void violently repelled each other. The powerful explosion swept through the divine hall, causing the void to distort. Scarlet thunder pearl. While the vermilion bird cauldron was attacking fiercely, Yi Qinfeng summoned the scarlet thunder pearl and attacked the light array in the void, forcibly tearing cracks in the light array. Yi Qinfeng controlled the vermilion bird cauldron and the scarlet thunder pearl to attack fiercely for more than an hour. With the help of the 2 great Dao treasures, he forcibly tore cracks in the light array in the void. Break! The light array in the void shattered. Yi Qinfeng spat out another mouthful of blood and merged it into the vermilion bird cauldron. It fiercely hit the heart of the light array in the void and blasted the light array in one fell swoop. After breaking the light array in the void, Yi Qinfeng saw a long corridor with a large number of ancient totems in the main hall. His body flashed and flew into the corridor. With the help of the Tao of Illusion, he broke through the illusions in the corridor and arrived at the central hall. When Yi Qinfeng held the moonlight stone in his hand and illuminated the central hall, a murderous aura that made him shudder surged forth and completely locked onto him, causing all the hairs on his body to stand on end. Mobile reading site, book address. For the convenience of your next reading, you can click on the save button at the bottom to record this reading record. The next time you open the bookshelf, you will see it. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support.